Ah, man. How you guys doing, man? Let me get some music. Oof, damn, you got far. Oh, man. I had to delay stream by just a little bit. I was so close to canceling, but I couldn't do this to you guys. We got crazy volume. Please tell me. Did I get the color in my face again? Oh, man. I got a little story for you guys. Ah, you guys are getting me a little excited, man. Hold on. Little 2-minute story while I catch my breath, man. This shit was bad, man. I'm assuming just LOTM, no Dunko Mangwa? For what? For what? Just LOTM? What are we talking about? Easy. Will we talk before you start reading? No, I'm sorry, Goff. I can't. It's I might have to randomly end stream a little bit. No, I'm sorry, Goff. I know I haven't got back to you. I literally just got back from getting some blood work, man. I almost started believing. Dude, I want to go get blood work, man. Fuck, man. They injected me 5 fucking times, man. This shit was bad. I passed out. They said I was turning yellow. Oh, it was so bad, bro. They had to give me that one little shit that I sniffed to wake up. It was bad, bro. Yo, first time catching stream. Yo, what's up, Rick? What's up, dude? Oh, wish you well. Nah. No, I wasn't sick. I haven't, like, I don't know. I haven't been. No, bro. I know. I got hit. I got poisoned. No, I'm not sick or anything. I just want to go get blood work. And yeah, man, shit was bad. They give me like one here. All right, you moved. We missed the vein. I'm like, all right. I was like, look, right here. They're like, all right, we missed the vein. You moved too much. They're like, all right, use this hand. And I'm like, oh, he's passing out. Like, we gotta stop. And they're like, we only got one vial. Oh, my arms are killing me. How many chapters? I was planning to stream like 2 to 3 hours, but I might have to leave in between if I get a phone call. But then I'll be back. And I passed out on my second one. When they're trying to draw blood. They gave me like something to wake me up because I was passing out. They put me in a separate room where I was chilling, waiting for a little bit. And then the third needle they gave me right here, it's a little bit more redder. The third needle, the nurse was like, oh, I'm feeling bubbles. And like, oh, that's not good. That's definitely not good. And then they're like, all right, we're done with the second vial. Like, third one, hang in there. And then it's like, nurse, I need backup. And she didn't hear her. And I'm like, I need backup. And then they pulled out the needle, and it was like a movie, bro. My blood just gushed out. I'm like, oh, man. Oh, shit goes wrong. Fits the theme. It does fit the theme. It was bad, man. And then they had to call like a higher up dude, like somebody else on top of them. Backup. I know. They called backup. They literally had to get called backup, and then my blood gushed out. I've never seen my blood so black, man. That shit was, it was so gross. It was like black, dark red blood. Then they called a higher up, and then they drew blood out like from right here, and I'm like, oh my god, like, bro, this is 4 shots, bro. Oh man, it was wild. But after that, we're done. That's why, man, I was so lightheaded. I delayed stream by a little bit. Reasonable, definitely reasonable. All that in preparation for Amon. Now let's get reading. All right. The goal is to read for 2 hours straight. I might have to go pick something up in a bit. I'm fingers crossed I don't get the phone call in the next 2 hours. And then we should be good. We're going to read 2 hours today, and tomorrow we'll read like another 2 to 4 hours. But I hope you guys are ready, man. All right. Are you guys ready? End of the 5th volume, Red Priest. And now, volume 6, Light Seeker. You still aren't ready? Bro, you guys are hyping me up a little too much. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. You guys are telling me this is like the second coming up in here, man. Even Cuttlefish, like, this is the best volume ever. I'm scared. I'm scared. So this is the start of the final act. All right, man. Chapter 1151. Deceits. Lock in. We're fucking locking in. I swear, I better not get that phone call right now, because then I'm out for like 30 minutes. Bro's about to be hit by peak. I swear, man, if I get that phone call right now, oh, man, knock on wood, I don't have to end stream abruptly within 2 hours. Everyone breathe. Lore. Let's get to it. Oh, wait. For people that don't know, look what the missus bought us. Custom-made, easy, geeky acrylic light. Look at that, dude. I need to find a better place to put it. I'll probably put it up here. All right, 1151. Deceit. awesome 10 out of 10 intros out the way. Let's do our timestamps and let's get reading, dude. All right, man. 1 minute, 14. Oh, man. It's hard to type. Based gift. By the way, chat is not visible. Let me put chat right now. Yeah, it's a base gift, dude. Let me put chat. I forgot to add it. I'm sorry. You can tell my I think this chapter, I'm gonna just put the numbers rather than copying and pasting because it's starting to get hard to type. All right, let's put chat on screen. And let's get reading, man. Live chat. Paste. Oh, I know what to do. Give me a sec. Let's try this. Trying to do it like where you don't see a glare. Just so it's not that bad. Because I always find it weird when there's like a glare on screen. Or like it's not fun watching. How's that? Give me a sec. 30 more seconds of tinkering with this. It does not work. I need to find a better spot. That's good enough. We'll take it. I'll take it. All right, base gift. All right, let's get reading, man. Chapter 1151 Deceit. All right. And a hotel. Ooh, Amon and Klein alone in a hotel? What could happen? In a hotel in Backland Bridge area, apart from his thoughts that still belonged to him, Klein could no longer control anything else. Even his eyeballs couldn't move. He knew very well that this was likely a deeper level of parasitizing. What? Really? Parasitized? What? Don't let the ships out? No, that one stays in the docks. In this state, he could only look ahead of him in fear and despair. He watched his uni, who was wearing a monocle with a smile on his face, change into Amon's original form. What the fuck? He took a step forward and counterclockwise and opened his mouth to speak in Mandarin in I'm sorry. Amon is speaking... Play the last song? Why did I get ping? Whoa, what am I playing? Oh, you're right. You did say we're gonna play music. I got you. I'm opening up Discord. Spam it here, Cammy. Spam it. Imagine coming from a war. Oh, wait. Oh my god. He's speaking Mandarin. What the fuck? All right, hold up. I'm opening up Discord. Oh, I got you. Yeah. Put it right there in general. All right. Awesome. I love you, Cammy. Thank you as always. Partner. Pause this. Open this. Oh, you missed our story time, man. I passed out. They had to draw blood. They gave me like 5 injections, man. So this was the best setup for this stream. All right, thank you. We got the music. Awesome. All right. What was it? He spoke Mandarin. Did he still... Wait. I skipped something. In this day, he could only look ahead of him in fear and despair. He watched his uni, who was wearing a monocle with a smile on his face, change into Amon's... Let me drag the music over here. Change into Amon's original form. He took a step forward in counterclockwise and opened his mouth to speak in Mandarin in an articulate and mellow manner. Oh, shit. Latency? How's latency? Are we good? The immortal lords of heavens and earth for blessings. West chat on screen still delayed, by the way? No, I have low latency. Let me refresh it. All right, let me try one more time. Let me just refresh it one more time. I'll hit refresh one more time, and then it should be okay. Yeah. But at least I have low latency, so I see your guys' messages on my end right away. That is the one good thing. All right, perfect. All right, he spoke in a mellow manner, the immortal lord of heaven and earth for blessings. Did he steal my... Oh, he stole it? Did he steal my thoughts just now or my ability to speak Mandarin? It should be the former, otherwise he wouldn't be able to grasp this ritual. Klein's pupils couldn't widen as he watched. He felt an unprecedented sense of anxiety. Oh, shit. As though sensing his emotions, the monocled man turned to look at him and smiled. He then took another step counterclockwise and whispered in Mandarin, "The sky lord of heaven and earth for blessings." Following that, this blasphemer carried out the ritual with great familiarity. With every step he took, every chant, the incantation, Klein's heart sank even deeper into a dark swamp, as though he could no longer see any light. The celestial worthy of heaven and earth for blessings. When Amon took the final step and recited the final incantation, no shot, he goes to the gray fog. Final incantation, a boundless gray white fog suddenly appeared in front of Klein. He heard the layer. I'm sorry, are we gonna go up there? He heard the layers of prayers. Then there was no need to listen carefully, as he understood what it meant with his spiritual perception. Oh, hell no. Tell me, Cammy. After advancing to Scholar of Yore, he had obtained basic control over Sephira Castle. No matter who it was, even if they had the correct ritual and the corresponding incantation, they needed to obtain his permission to enter the world above the Great Fog. How the fuck is he doing it? Reject him. Klein was instantly delighted as the idea clearly surfaced within him. However, just as he had his thought, he had forgotten it. Standing there, he looked like a statue carved from stone. His intention of rejecting Amon had been stolen by him. His intention of rejection was stolen? We can do that? Klein once again felt despair by the grayish-white fog in front of him, and the prayers in his ears didn't disappear. Klein was first taken aback before he understood what was happening. What was going on? I understand. I have to head above the Great Fog for myself and control Sephira Castle to give him permission to enter. There is no default option. This thought was like a straw when Klein grabbed at it without any hesitation. It prevented himself from sinking into the water silently without anyone hear him cry. Although he still didn't know how to make use of this matter, his intuition told him that a slim possibility and his hope only could be hidden in this detail. At this moment, Amon stopped the attempt and cast his gaze at him. Clearly, he had failed to successfully enter Sephira Castle. Okay, so we're good. This angel of time adjusted the monocle on his right eye and smiled without any change in expression. Honorable Mr. Full... He knows who he is. Honorable Mr. Fool, your idea of saving yourself is very interesting. Amon had used the standard Loan language, but every word seemed to be able to stir the powers of nature, creating one explosion after another in his mind. How is he so sure that I am the fool and not the blessed of the fool? Klein felt his body turn cold as he could just surface sank into the water once more. How am I certain? Amon tissed and pulled a chair in front of him over and sat down. He pointed at the round stool opposite him and said, sit down, don't stand on ceremony? Oh shit, he fucking knows, dude. Oh shit. Remember in Volume 2 when he whispered, the fool? Oh my god, dude. The moment he finished his sentence, I'm sorry, has this dude been watching us from the beginning? The moment he finished his sentence, Klein couldn't help but stride forward and sit on the round table. Amon looked around and, oh, hold up, the music is so loud, I gotta chill, hold up, I need to focus. One sec. It's way too loud for me. And then let me raise it for you guys a little bit more. Oh, the moment he finished his sentence, Klein couldn't help but stride forward and sit on the round table. Amon looked around the room and grabbed Klein's black silk top hat. He put it on his head and said with a smile, Did you think I wasn't aware that the ritual would be unsuccessful? It has been long since Sephira Castle produced any anomaly, so how could I forget? I just want to see your reaction, and you subconsciously felt despair and instinctively rejected me. This was very interesting. If you weren't the one who was called the fool... Oh, he sensed it. If you weren't the one who was called the fool... Now it's way too low. If you weren't the one who was called a fool, how could you have such thoughts? Dear Mr. Fool, am I right? Oh, shit. As he repeated 4 rhetorical questions, Amon looked and rather pleased as though he was an old hunter who had caught the foxtail. I fell for his scam. Only then did Klein realize why Amon wasn't disappointed at all. He subconsciously wanted to deny it, but after some thought, he calmly said, kill me. Huh? I can speak now. Klein tried to control his body, but it wasn't completely impossible. In the next second, he was prepared to recite the honorific name of the Evernight goddess, but this thought was immediately lost. He stole that thought. The thin-faced blasphemer Amon pressed down on his right monocle, maintaining his excited state from before, so that you can be reborn in Sephira Castle. Oh shit, dude! Amon is one scary motherfucker. Oh shit! Klein going full suicide, dude. This is crazy. The more I talk about this fellow, the more mistakes I make. Klein shut his mouth tightly and didn't say another word. When Amon saw this, he shook his head with a smile. There's no need to be so afraid. That's scary. Actually, there's no bad blood between us. Sitting on the round... What? So we're friends. We're companions. Sitting on a round stool like a doll, Klein was stunned for a moment, but he didn't respond. Amon leaned forward slightly and looked into his eyes before continuing with a smile. The only conflict we have is regarding Sephira Castle. But do you really wish to shoulder that fate? Aren't you worried that the original owner of Sephira Castle will revive within you? I've been saying it. They're trying to make him a vessel. Bro, trust every word's easy, naivety, go invert. Wait, dude, come on. Adam is a bad guy. He's the friend. He's the homie. This was something Klein was very concerned about, making him at a loss for words. Amon pinched the crystal molecule and didn't urge him to answer. He smiled and said, if you give me Sephira Castle, all the problems will be resolved, and we can't do that. That way, whether the original owner Sephira Castle comes back to life or if the corresponding fate can be shouldered, the person who needs to worry is me, not you. That's a good deal. Also, I'll be the one to take over the subsequent arrangements of my Zelia's brother. Brother Door? What? Wait. Door. Bethel Abraham is Amon's brother? And Little Zaratul's Pursuits? He called him Lil? I'm sorry, is this like a rapper name? Why is he saying brother? No? I'll be the one to take over the subsequent arrangements of my Zelia's brother Door. You missed a comma? Oh, wait. Brother Door. Oh, wait. Okay, chill. Okay. Zaratul is his brother? What? What? No, wait. Zaratul. Wait, no. He's talking about Adam. No. Okay. Matt, this sentence is throwing me for a loop. Okay, I was like, what a fucking beginning to volume 6. Okay, he's talking about Adam. Got it. Let me reread this again. Oh, because he's with Zaratul and Zealots equals Adam? I didn't know that. Oh, okay, thank you. Okay, bro, you have a trash translation or you're tweaking. No. I'll be the one to take over the subsequent arrangements of my Zelia's brother, Door. When he said Door in brackets, I was thinking of Mr. Door. Okay, we're good. And Lil Zartul's Pursuit and Benediction of Evernight. We're chill. Okay, we're good. And you will be freed from all this and just stay as Sequence 3. Huh. Why would I want to kill you? What's the point of killing a Sequence 3? Even if I want to retrieve the characteristics, it's still expendable. My prey would only be Palas, Little Zartul, and Door. The rest will purely depend on my mood. As for the organization that you established, I can also help you maintain it. Nah, it's not a good idea. It's very fascinating and interesting. No, he said Klein. He was his brother. I thought you were unhinged for a sec, Milos. You got me pretty good. I was like, wait, was that a spoiler? That was a pretty funny troll. If you think this price isn't enough, then I can make you my blessed? Huh. Are you not pretending that the Fool is the angel of time Amon in the City of Silver? That can turn into reality in the future. I will lead them out of the forsaken lands of gods and see the light outside. Oh, Light Seeker. Holy shit. Chapter 1, we're already talking about leading them out of the light. Hold up, Light Seeker. I'm sorry. Is Amon the Light Seeker? When the time comes, you still have a chance to advance the Sequence 2 and become an angel. This is a practically taking over all the worries and hardships. There are only benefits left. Klein, who didn't have a huge desire in becoming a true god and controlling Sephira Castle, heard his heart palpitate with excitement. Excitement? If he had known that Amon was the #1 master in deceit, he would have... wait, I keep forgetting that. #1 master in deceit? Never mind, this is too good to be true. He would have agreed to it on the spot, but in the end, he still said without expression, kill me. Is that the only thing you know how to say? Amon said without any signs of anger. He looked at Klein with pinched amusement. To him, this was a very interesting matter. It was completely understandable that he would encounter difficulties during this process. They only served to make success even more fulfilling and delightful. I'm just a heartless broken record. By lampooning, Klein eased his oppression and despair. Instead of answering, he asked, how did you know the City of Silver thinks that you are the Fool? He didn't dare to say that the City of Silver still suspected that the Fool was the god of Amon. They still believe that. That the Fool was the god that Amon believed in, afraid that he would provoke him. Of course, if Amon was the type of person who would lose his intelligence after being provoked, you already fell for it too? I did fall for it. I did fall for it. I remember we believed that for so long. And I'm like, wait, yeah, I actually believed it. He definitely would have tried doing so. This was because he now suspected that after gaining initial control of Sephira Castle, he would be reborn above the Grey Fog after his death. Unfortunately, Amon wasn't a king of angels from the Storm Pathway, but a god of trickery that gave even the true deities a headache in the 4th epoch. Amon laughed and said, do you think I only have 2 avatars in the City of Silver? Since you, the Fool, and the Hanged Man have intervened, then I'm happy to quietly watch from the sidelines. Holy shit, dude. He knows everything, dude. Oh man, the City of Silver is still accommodating Amon's avatar, who is the fellow who was parasitized. Yes, previously the member of the Giant King's Court exploration team weren't parasitized. This is something that can be confirmed. As his mind tensed up, Klein felt that it was only natural. This was because Leonard had once told him that seeing one Amon meant that there were a bunch of Amons lurking around. It wouldn't be just a small handful. Without much thought, Klein tried hard to come up with an attempt to create an opportunity. You didn't rob me of destiny directly because you can handle it right now. Amon nodded frankly and said, yes, that's why I want to make a deal with you peacefully, but since you rejected my offer, I can only bring you to see my real body. Oh shit, his real body? I can only bring you to see my real body to a sufficiently safe place. I wonder if his state is going to be like Pain's state in Naruto, where like his real body was completely different from the six paths, then your destiny will be taken away. When that happens, your ending will not be as good as I just said earlier. As he spoke, the black-haired, black-eyed man with a broad forehead and thin face slowly got up and walked towards the door. With that, Klein stood up and followed behind like a puppet. As he reached out to open the door, Amon seemed to recall a question. He pressed down on the crystal molecule and turned to look back at him. What's the fourth line of the Scholar of your honorific name? In mysticism, every existence corresponding honorific name wasn't that strict, as long as one used the correct format and certain descriptions to narrow the scope to prevent any ambiguity. I'm reading that wrong. They could point towards the corresponding hidden existence. This was also why quite a number of heretics who knew nothing about mysticism could randomly make honorific names while still receiving feedback. Of course, if the honorific name wasn't given by the hidden existence, there's no way to enjoy receiving automatic response. Whether they establish a connection or not depended on whether the existence was interested and supplicant. Previously, Amon had to use his understanding of Scholar of Yore and German Sparrow and the powers of Marauder Pathway Sequence 7 Cryptologist to restore the full honorific name that could point accurately to German Sparrow. However, he didn't attempt to pray and use the automatic response to establish a connection to lock onto. Amon's real body was Susie all along. Bro, I would lose my fucking mind. Klein's location, because his godhood intuition told him that there was a high problem with the fourth sentence, dooming... Oh, man, my hands are hurting, man. Dooming him into the fail. The fourth line of Klein's honorific name flashed across his mind, but he had no intention of telling Amon. At that moment, Amon opened his mouth and read out his thoughts. Protector of backland magic and drama performers, this is so-called angel time and blasphemer fell silent for a few seconds after saying out loud. Then he smiled very happily. Wait, what does that mean? Protector of backland magic and drama performers? After laughing, Amon adjusted his monocle on his right eye. He keeps adjusting it, man. I wonder if there's something that happens when he adjusts it. After laughing, Amon adjusted his monocle on his right eye instead of a smile. To be honest, this is all very interesting. Are you really not considering becoming my blessed? Klein opened his mouth and gave a familiar answer. For the third time, kill me. Oh shit, too low for Susie. Chapter 1152 is called Error. Oh my god, let's keep reading, dude. Holy shit. Oh man, I'm trying to not bend my hands, man, because this shit hurts. Oh, this is bad. Oh man, it's all right. We're streaming because I love you guys, and I can't go back on my word. We got to keep reading, man. We got to fucking lock in. Amon has OCD. Dude, is that why he's always adjusting his fucking monocle? He's like, okay. Next chapter. I'm going to read a whole chapter with a fucking monocle. I don't know where my monocle's at. Give me a sec. Yeah, just going to adjust this right here. Okay. Oh, I can't even pretend to wear it. I can't even. No. He lost the monocle. No, I lost the monocle. I got the monocle right here. I can't really bend my arm. So let's see how much we can read before my arm gives out from all the freaking blood they drawed out today. Chapter 1152 is called Error. That update? Yes, I updated it. Upon hearing Klein's reply, Amon smiled and shook his head. I actually can't read. Like that. I gotta put it down. I'm sorry. My hands hurt too much. As he reached out to open the door, he casually asked, how did you think of such an honorific name? It needs to have a certain connection with myself, but also able to avoid others from using the prayer's automatic response to lock onto me. There aren't many such honorific names. Seeing that his identity has been exposed, there was no need for Klein to hide it any further. Okay, so he's just going to tell him the whole truth. Furthermore, he hoped to use such a conversation to grasp an opportunity. At the same time, his mind raced as he began thinking about how to save himself. I've been deeply parasitized. If I have any thoughts that aren't beneficial to Amon, it will easily be sensed and detected by him. What? The nurse sabotaged you? Dude, the nurse literally sabotaged me today. She was like, oh, you're going to stream today? Starts fucking squirming it in there. Ah, man. Today is Saturday. And it's almost, wow, we're actually reading this on Saturday. Today's Saturday and it's almost Monday again. If the Fool suddenly stopped the entire gathering without any warning, the other members will definitely be terrified, nervous, and confused. Here, those who have the means to connect to the world will definitely attempt to summon the messenger and ask for a reason. And once Miss Messenger approaches me, she will be able to discover the existence of Amon. Then she can use yesterday once more charm to recover to her peak condition. With the complete strength of an angel, she has a sizable chance of rescuing me from Amon's avatar. The most important important thing for me to do now is to persist and live for 2 days. Oh shit, until it's the meeting time. Yeah, since Amon can't steal my fate right now, why did he try to trade peacefully? Even if I agreed to it, he wouldn't dare to let me go above the Grey Fog to grant him permission. That would mean that I'm free from his control and be able to Sephara Castle to effectively pursue and make a counterattack against the parasite. In the agreement itself, a switch, and there's no need to follow up on it. Amon deliberately didn't mention this. As expected, it was a scam. And I fell for it. Having grasped a sliver of hope, Klein decided to stall for time as long as possible for the next 2 days. The focus of Amon was still on the honorific name that no human and angel could think of. As he walked out of the room, he scratched his chin and said, "Have you provided any protection to Backland's magic and drama performers? I protected a trickmaster before. Having made plans, Klein was much more cooperative than before. He answered simply, I'm a magician myself. I've performed many times in Backland. The monocle man nodded. Barely counts. Barely counts? You should change the volume 5 to volume 6. I did not change that, huh? I did change it. Yeah. It's updated. Wait. Yeah, I have it set to volume 6. Yeah, no, it's at volume 6 now. My hands. No, yeah, it's been changed. No, it's good. Okay, it's good. On screen? Oh, you're right. I forgot to change that part. I forgot about this part. Good catch. We changed it. The monocled Amon nodded. Barely counts. He then walked out of the hotel room and went down the stairs to the street. Like a servant, he followed behind without any abnormalities. Looking to his left and right, Amon pinched his monocle and sighed with a smile. How regretful. What's there to regret? Klein asked in puzzlement. I've already been caught by you. What else do you have to regret? Amon pressed down on his silk top hat and maintained his smile. You can make a guess. If you can guess correctly, I can give you a better ending. Oh shit, dude. Klein didn't believe in his promise at all. In order to not be tricked into revealing more secrets, he shook his head and said, I can't guess it. How boring, Amon said simply. He clenched his right hand into a fist and slightly tapped his monocle. He's activating it. Like when you remember how he'd activate his spirit vision? From the pedestrians, the trees by the center of the street, the sparrows on the rooftop, the rats in the muddy corners, and all the kinds of living creatures in the air, illusory worm-like figures flew out, returning to Amon. Everybody was parasitized. What the fuck? There's like 50 of you guys here. Oh my god, thank you. The son of a god statue instantly rose to the level of an angel. As for Klein, he raised his left hand and the human skin glove suddenly turned transparent. This was the activation processes of traveling. At that moment, the only thing on him which was real was creeping hunger. The rest were made using the powers of Faceless, as well as the glove using flesh of blood as material. Seeing that traveling was about to begin, Klein was taken aback as he blurted out, why did you teleport in the room? He had expected Amon to leave Backland with him. After all, this was a place where even a king of angels had to be wary of. However, he couldn't understand why he would open a door, go downstairs, and leave the hotel in such an ordinary fashion. Wait, yeah, he's being all chill and nonchalant. No, it's called aura? It's called aura. That's true. That's also true. The eye behind the monocle swept across Klein as the corner of Amon's mouth slowly curled up. I've already answered you. What a pity that you didn't seek help from Palaz. This angel time had an obvious smile on his face, but there were no emotions in his black eyes. It made Klein shudder. He's certain that I have some connection with Palaz. Is it because of what happened the last time? No, stop it. Klein attempted to cogitate, trying his best to control himself from thinking too much, so as to prevent his thoughts from being stolen by Amon. Amon glanced at the panicking passers by one of the street in an impassive manner before looking up at the gray sky and saying, I can only wait for the next opportunity. The most important thing right now is to bring you to that place. What place? As they spoke, both of them turned transparent at the same time and vanished from the hotel's entrance. None of them who came over felt anything amiss. After passing through the... Dude, this is crazy. This is the most Amon we've ever had. Literally, this is the... We're 2 chapters in a row with Amon. This is the most Amon we've ever had. After passing through the countless indescribable spirit world creatures and overlapping layers of different saturated colors, Klein and Amon appeared above the sea. Beneath their feet was a huge fissure. The blue seawater had been cut off as they plummeted deep into the bottomless darkness like a It's so crazy trying to visualize all this shit. Like a waterfall without ever filling up. This was the entrance to the ruins of the Battle of... Oh, the Battle of Gods from Volume 4. With a thought, Klein asked, you're taking me to the forsaken land of the gods? The magnificent waterfall was reflected in Amon's monocle. He nodded slightly and casually replied, that's right. I'm sorry, we're going to the City of Silver? land of gods, the forsaken land of gods. The magnificent waterfall was reflected in Amon's monocle. He nodded slightly and casually replied to that. I'm sorry, are we getting a City of Silver volume? I'm sorry, is that actually happening? When we get there, even your messenger won't be able to sense that. He's going to the Forsaken Lands. Where Amon is taking Klein to the Forsaken Lands. Get the fuck out of here. We're actually going there. Oh my god. The Forsaken Lands of Gods was clearly separated from the spirit world. Only by relying on Sephira Castle could the connection be made. Amon knows what I'm planning. Oh my god. No. Dude, I'm sorry. It's going to be like a Scooby-Doo episode, bro. Where it's just him and Amon solving a mystery. With all these random ass monsters. Oh, it's gonna be sick, dude. The Forsaken Land of the Gods was clearly separate from the spirit world. Only by relying on Sephira Castle could a connection be made. I'm starting to gasp for air already. I feel like I'm about to pass out again. They going on a honeymoon? No. That ship must stay in docks, bro. The ship must never sail. Amon knows what I'm planning to do. The flame of hope that was igniting in him was extinguished by the cold reality. Ah, light seeker. Or Klein's like trying. Oh, Klein is trying to find the light in the City of Silver. He couldn't find any other way to save himself for the time being. At this moment, the levitating Amon muttered to himself, if my mausoleum and backland hadn't been destroyed by the Church of Steam, we could have used the Abyss as a springboard to head there directly. We wouldn't have to go through all this trouble. Klein guiltily changed the topic. The Abyss is connected to... No, shit, it's connected. We've been saying that for so long. Klein guiltily changed the topic. The Abyss is connected to the Forsaken Lands of Gods. No. Oh, wait. Oh, no, it's not. Amon shook his head and said with a relaxed manner, but I can use some of its characteristics to go anywhere? What? I heard that there were some nasty changes in the Abyss with a thought Klein probed. Amon turned his head and glanced at him without concealing his curiosity. You're actually aware. Yes, I once thought of exploring the Abyss. Klein didn't speak further. Afraid that the King of Angels, the Marauder Pathway, would discover that he could read Roselle's diary. Oh, yeah, we don't want that to happen. At this moment, Amon is trying to find Easy's fan to fan himself down, man. Holy shit, dude. Oh, my God. Just as he finished speaking, he suddenly had a new idea. Wait, what's so funny about that? Klein was very interested in what had happened in the Abyss to begin with. Thus, he took the opportunity to cooperate with Amon and attempt to know more. Just as he finished speaking, he suddenly had a new idea. Using the conversation he had with Amon, he could grasp more historical secrets to speed up his digestion of the Scholar of Your Potion. Oh, okay. That's a good idea. That way he could try using it in Deadpan to his control of Sephira Castle and escape from his current predicament. This thought flashed through his mind as he quickly restrained himself and he stopped thinking about such matters. In regards to his question, Amon chuckled and said, Your visiting the Abyss is like offering yourself as a... Wait, what? Your visiting of the Abyss is like offering yourself as a beautifully packaged gift to someone who wants it? Dark side of the universe, Klein was first alarmed before he made a guess. Amon nodded. He was originally the only surviving ancient god, the devil monarch Farbuwati, now He. He? He just goes He? Without finishing his sentence, Amon leaped and jumped into the huge illusory rift with a strong wind. That's literally what me and Wiz talked about during our last discussion. When we talk about the Abyss, it's the dark side of the universe. With that, Klein lost the support of the wind and fell straight down. After an unknown period of time, the water there resembled a fountain surged upwards, rapidly throwing him and Amon to the outside of the severed face. Dude, this is so exciting. We're fucking going there. Just as he entered the ruins of the Battle of Gods, Klein was hit by bright sunlight. He suddenly heard a series of intense and crazy ravings. It was like a thin needle that pierced through the ear. I got a tear in my eye. This is so hype. It was like a thin needle that pierced through his eardrums and stepped into his brain, filling every thought with immense pain. As for the worms of despair that formed his mythical creature form, they gradually changed as though they were about to give birth to a degenerate consciousness that didn't belong to him. The true creator's ravings. With regards to this, Klein could barely withstand it, but it was difficult for him to hold out for too long. There was no way for him to go far into the ruins of the Battle of Gods. At this moment, he saw the molecule on Amon's right eye absorbed the light around him. It became usually bright and white. You and Wiz still needed... I know we haven't done it. I know he said he was going to be free over the weekend. So we either do it later tonight or probably tomorrow, Milosh. I got you. Then, yeah, no, we're going to do it this weekend. I'll hit him up after we're done streaming. Then a thick darkness ruled the sky. Amon directly stole the day of... He just stole the day? Then a thick darkness ruled the sky. Amon directly stole the day of the ruins of the Battle of Gods. In the darkness, this angel times avatar brought Klein to the island and made him sleep against a stone pillar. Soon, Klein arrived in a hazy dream world, and just like that, we're here. He saw the projection of the giant case card, which was filled with an epic feeling opposite the black cloister and the cliffs. Amon, wearing the black silk top hat and crystal monocle, appeared beside him. With a relaxed smile, he pointed at the projection of the giant king's court that was frozen in sunset. That's the entrance to the forsaken lands of gods. After some thought, Klein raised his doubts. Don't you need to enter a dream at a specific location to open an entrance? He couldn't help but feel a glimmer of hope. He thought that it would be great if Amon wasted a week or two with his time in the ruins of the battle gods. That's right, Amon didn't deny what Klein had said. He casually said, if you wish to open an entrance, you have to travel on a ship to the core of the ruins water. Oh, that's how Jack and his dad got there. You have to travel on a ship to the core of this ruins waters. This might take more than a month, and you will experience many dangers that you're currently unable to withstand. As for me, I don't have to. Is it because you're the son of the creator? Klein guessed in deliberation. No, Amon had one hand in his pocket and said, he turned to walk to the Black Cloister's entrance. In a chaotic place like this, order is in shambles, and the laws governing them have mutated. There are too many things that can be exploited. At this Angel of Time walked, he turned to look at Klein. The Marauder Pathway Sequence 0 has to... The Marauder Pathway Sequence 0 has a very abstract name. Error. This chapter's called Error. It was named by I'm sorry. The true creator was the one that named them? It was named by my father. He once used a strange word of unknown origins to represent it. Oh, so that explains that he was a transmigrator. He once used a strange word of unknown origins. He used Mandarin to represent it. Bug. When translated, it's a Trojan horse of fate, the slug of time, the loopholes and rules, the manifestation of all errors. What the fuck am I reading? Chapter 1153 is called the Sunset Tunnel? Wait, Sequence 0 of the Marauder Pathway is called Error? So Amon is going to be Sequence 0, and he's going to be the loopholes and rules, the manifestation. Amon is the manifestation of all errors. Wow, truly a blasphemer. Holy shit, dude. Oh, this is hype. Oh, this is fucking hype, dude. Shit, not true creator. Ancient Sun God. The creator, Ancient Sun God. My bad. Sorry. I don't know why I'm mixing that up right now. My bad. Ancient Sun God. But like, yeah, I got you. Oh my god, I don't know why I'm saying that. Oh man, this is exciting, dude. This is fucking exciting. Speculations, dude. Just everything's gonna be illogical. Dude, that's like the only thing I can think of. Like, nothing is gonna make sense. Just like how when Adam uses the quote, everything has to be within expectations. I think he can go against fate. Oh, he probably goes against fate. And that's probably why he meant by like all like Sephira's castle's fate will be mine and not yours, because if he's a true embodiment of error, he doesn't have to succumb to whatever fate Sephira Castle has. Find errors in fate, bro. Thank you for helping me. Yeah, everything is gonna make no sense when it comes in terms of fate, or like you can't be bound by anything because you're just so illogical, man. Oh, it's gonna be so good. Oh man, I can already see some crazy shit happen, and then Amon just steals sunlight again, and then Amon just rewinds time. It makes no logical sense. Time can rewind, but we just go back. Or like, holy shit. Isn't his wheel like a time? Like a clock? Chapter 1153 is called the Sunset Tunnel. Speculation on the Apprentice Sequence 0. Bro, I don't even know what the fuck apprentice could be. Master. We work our way, we learn what an apprentice is, and then Sequence 0 is master. Sequence 0 is master. Sequence 0 is master. You need a master, you need a fool, and you need an error. You need all three for whatever reason. Amon, you are a failure error. You are an error. Chapter 1153 is called the Sunset Tunnel. Error. Bug. Is the essence of... Bug? Is that the essence of the Marauder Pathway? As he came to realization, Klein also confirmed one thing. That was that the Ancient Sun God, the City of Silver creator, Amon's father, really did come from Earth. The word that Amon said was standard English. Holy shit, man, he did come from Earth. Fellow Earthling, your two children have really caused me so much pain. If only they were all like Bernadette. As he lampooned inwardly, he asked curiously, you want me to use the dream world's loophole? Klein controlled himself and didn't use the term bug to describe it, lest it would arouse suspicion in Amon due to his overly ordinary fluency when speaking the word. He could then reveal a trump card for no reason, faced with a king of angels who could steal his thoughts and deeply parasitize him. He had a few trump cards to begin with. He had to make good use of every single one of them. Who knew what they might end up being effective? At that moment, Amon had already walked out of the black cloister. He had one hand in his pocket, and without doing anything, the heavy door opened automatically as though it was welcoming the arrival of a distinguished guest. You know what, bro? Maybe Amon's goal is to go to Earth. Holy shit, dude. I can see that's how, like, book 1 ends. Like, all these fucking Beyonders go to Earth, you know? Or, like, book 3. If he does book 3, we just go to Earth. Bug and computer. Engine Sun God was a nerd. Oh, like a bug? Like a computer bug? Damn, nice theory. I think that can work. Maybe he just wants to go to Earth. I think maybe that's what it is. You can... I mean, you guys would know. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. You can think of it that way, and then it'll be like fate, right? When like past historical people go to the real world and whatnot. Now it's like, no, all these Beyonders now go to the real world. But in actual fact, it's a little more complicated than that. Wait, you can think of it that way, but in actual fact, it's a little more complicated than that. Amon didn't show the might of the blasphemer at all as he casually answered Klein's question. This dream world doesn't have any errors, or rather loopholes. It's just that due to the clashing of remnant divine powers, some places appear more chaotic, and I can use this chaos to create a loophole. Okay, as a huge door that was prepared for the giant was completely open, Amon pinched his... I'm sorry, isn't this the same door Derek and the others looked at? And the King of Courts, the giant King of Courts? That was a big double door, right? As the huge door that was prepared for the giant was completely open, Amon pinched his monocle and walked into the hall, venturing deep inside. During this process, he smiled and gave a more in-depth explanation. I just realized, dude, Amon is doing that anime trope when he's like, he's adjusting his glasses like he's doing that eyes and shades. Like, let me adjust my glasses. I can't unsee it now. You should know very well that this cloister is composed of dreams. Yes, it comes from the dreams of different living creatures in the ruins of the Battle of Gods. After some thought, Klein added, it might also be left behind by some dreams from the past. At that moment, the man and angel walked on the winding black staircase. The light of dusk shone in through the stained glass from high above, bringing with it a feeling of burning holiness. Oh my god, the light seeker. We're trying to find the light again. Amon touched the human... So the whole volume is we're trying to get out. Amon touched the human skull engraving on the railings and smiled. As he took in the surroundings, generally speaking, the area you enter this dream world is where you end up when waking up. Regardless if you're in the dreams of other living beings in the other seas. Unable to not... That is so big brain. Generally speaking, the area you enter this dream world is where you end up when waking up. Regardless if you're in the dreams of other living beings in other seas. Unable to nod, Klein could only express his opinion with words. That's right. And after I created a loophole, I can wake up in the corresponding location by entering other dreams. Clearly, this cloister is much smaller than... I cannot visualize this right now. Is much smaller than the sea ruins outside. The structure is even narrower. Perhaps we can reach our destination in a few minutes. There was a hint of joy in Amon's tone. He's happy. To him, creating and exploding loopholes was a joyous matter. This Amon is actually able to use such a method to quickly pass through the ruins of the Battle Gods. We wouldn't even be wasting an hour or two, much less 1 or 2 weeks. As expected of the Kings of Angels, the blasphemer of the Fourth Epoch, this glimmer of hope that was generated in Klein's vanished instantly. He wasn't sure if Amon had deliberately not mentioned it in event so as to enjoy watching the bubbles of his target hope being popped time and time again, or if he didn't care about such trivial matters. All he could do was curb his heavy depression and say, you want to control the core of dream of this illusionary world? Is that what it is? He remembered Queen Mystic Bernadette mentioning that she didn't dare enter the black wooden door in the deepest depths of the cloister. It's not me, it's us. Us! Amon replied with a smile. He seemed to suddenly recall something. He raised his hand to adjust his monocle and asked with interest, why did you put a monocle on your marionette? I didn't even need to prepare one myself. Feeling awkward. Oh, it was when he was trying to throw off Medici, right? Sigh away. I'll get the answer. I'm just going to leave. Doesn't seem like I'll get an answer. Wait. What will we miss? First thing Amon does, it goes on Earth, is to cosplay Aizen. That's so funny. Literally, I can't unsee it now. I didn't even need to prepare one myself. Feeling awkward for a second, Klein thought for a second and decided to enter truthfully. Not long. Wait, what was that? What was username saying earlier? You said Sai? Sai. Oh, he's been saying Sai a while. What happened? Wait, what'd I miss? I don't know what I missed. Ah, let me drink some water. Oh, man. Oh, shit. I know. I'm just clicking stream up here for me. No, I got you. Very interesting. This angel time said thoughtfully to think that Medici hadn't completely died. I skipped a sentence. Amon is creating errors in easy chat. It's not me, it's us. Amon replied with a smile. He seemed to suddenly... No, I won't read chat. I get your spoilers. He seemed to suddenly recall something because we've had a few people trying to spoil recently, which was I find that kind of funny. I'm like, damn, we can't get spoiled now. He raised his hand to adjust his monocle and asked with interest, "Why did you put a monocle on your marionette? I didn't even need to prepare one myself." Feeling awkward for a second, Klein thought for a second and decided to answer truthfully. "Not long ago, in order to digest a bizarre sorcerer potion, I deliberately wore this monocle in front of Red Angel Evil Spirit." Amon, who was walking down the stairs, suddenly paused. He turned his head to look at Klein and smiled. "Very interesting. This angel time said thoughtfully to think that Medici hasn't completely died. Next time, if I encounter him, I'll disguise myself to look like you. Then I'll wear a monocle in front of him again." There's so many layers to that. "Poor Sauron Einhorn Medici, as a whole king of angels, can you not be so senseless? Is this the so-called god of mischief?" When Klein heard that, he felt wistful, not knowing what to say. Amon pressed down on the crystal monocle and asked, "Did you wear this monocle on your left eye?" "How did you know?" Klein was shocked, imagining that Amon had stolen the scene from the fog of history. Oh, shit. "How did I know?" Amon said with a smile. "There are two possibilities. Firstly, it's because you're a beyonder of a low level. So you're a low level? So you're definitely not a match for that fellow Medici. You were afraid that if your disguise was too realistic, then you would incur a fatal subconscious attack and deduced that you would be better off doing so. Secondly, if you had the intention of imitating me and ended up doing an accurate imitation, then I might be able to use the ripples to generate by fate to detect the incident." That's exactly what he said. "Since I didn't notice, it must mean that the monocle was worn on the wrong spot. Make a guess. Which possibility is it?" He literally on the nose. Easy. Klein dies fighting Harry Potter. Yeah, Harry's gonna hit him with the Avada Kedavra. "I would choose the most dangerous possibility regardless of whether it's true or not. This way, I will be even more careful and cautious in the future when it comes to matters like this. Of course, there must be a future first, since Amon didn't show any signs of viciousness or oppression." Klein had knowingly let down his guard and felt that Amon was an easygoing king of angels, but now he suddenly snapped to his attention as he came to a realization that this was a trait of a master swindler. The second possibility, Klein gave his answer. Amon didn't say if he was right. He reached the bottom of the stairs and came to the lowest level of the cloister. He stopped in front of the black wooden door that covered the strange patterns. "I've been here before. Once this door is fully open, the power inside will shatter the dream world in its reality, in its entirety," Klein said as he attempted to extract more historical secrets from Amon. Amon reached out of the handle, his thin face impassive as he said, "This is my father's final dream. The corresponding location is where he perished." What? Hocus pocus. In regards to this answer, after understanding the formation of the Rose Redemption, I skipped the sentence. "The ruins of the battle gods, who were the Rose Redemption, attacked the ancient sun god, the source of the cataclysm." Where Klein heard that, he tensed up as his thoughts raced. With regards to this answer, after understanding the formation of the Rose Redemption, he had a corresponding theory regarding the various abnormalities. In the ruins of the battle gods, he wasn't too shocked now, and the scholar of your potion had even been digested to a certain degree. Immediately following that, he let out an indescribable sigh. This was the closest he had gotten to the ancient sun god. Previously, when he saw that it was through dream divination, they were separated by a distinct stretch of both space and time. Not this time. The ancient sun god and the Emperor Rizal were the protagonists of an era, but in the end, they ended up miserable. The ending was tragic. Rizal still had the means of being revived. I wonder if the former creator had any similar setups. Oh my god. Klein is gonna have such a tragic ending, huh? Dark Angel Sasir, the true creator, amidst his thoughts, Amon opened the black wooden door covered in strange patterns. There was a sea inside in the blinding sunlight whose straight at it. There seemed to be a rich golden color hidden in the waves. Klein didn't understand what the thick gold represented previously, but now he had a preliminary idea. It was the blood of the ancient sun god. Before he died, he was affected by the power of the Evernight and fell into a dream. He dreamed of his body being torn apart, stamming the sea with blood, clang. As the black wooden door opened, an unimaginable aura emitted out, causing the entire cloister to violently shake, as though it had encountered an earthquake that could destroy the world. Amidst the dust and collapsed stone bricks, the two of them entered the golden sea through the wooden door. Following that, he felt his spirit body melt and his psyche evaporated. And second, he would become the fertilizer for the dream. LASG. He returned to the day he had stolen the ruins of the Battle of Gods, allowing the place to turn from night to day. At the same time, his and Klein's figures turned somewhat transparent. Then they appeared in midair above a sea that was dyed golden. The temperature here was higher than when Klein imagined, but it wasn't as dangerous as a dream. Or rather, the sea and the core region of the ruins of the Battle of Gods was separated into safety zones due to various clashes of divine powers. Okay, as long as one didn't blatantly explore the area, there wouldn't be too much of a problem. In the next second, Amon's molecule drew in all the light. What? Amon's molecule drew in all the light from his surroundings, making himself appear extremely bright. What? Day was stolen and night had fallen once again. His molecule stole all the light. It went inside and then he started glowing. What? Like Mr. Manhattan, right? Just not blue. He just started glowing bright. And was stolen at night and had fallen once again. After the two landed on the island in the safe zone, they once again entered the dream world. Amon stole all the light and day. But why did is he using the molecule? Oh, is he using the molecule to steal things? Like, does it enhance his marauder pathways? Is that what this shit in? He went inside? Definitely went inside. This time they appeared outside the black wooden door covered with strange patterns. Amon adjusted his monocle, which he wore on his right eye, and he pulled it with his left hand. Wow, I've been actually wearing the monocle on my right hand, unironically. And pulled it with his left hand, stealing the distance between the entrance and the cloister. Both of them took steps forward at the same time, leaving the cloisters and arriving at the edge of the cliff. Opposite of them was a projection of the giant king's court that was frozen in the dust. Klein originally thought that Amon would follow procedure and chant the corresponding honorific name, but to his surprise, he only raised his right hand and snapped his fingers. The clouds that separated the two mountains instantly boiled as they parted to the left and right, revealing an invisible dark rift at the bottom. The projection of the giant king's court on the opposite side suddenly sucked all the rays of light from the sunset over, letting them surge forward and fill up the deep crack. Hence, in between the two mountains, an orange-red light road appeared in the clouds. Let's go. Amon gave a low laugh and he leaped down the cliff. He just jumps into the cliff. With the fluttering of his clothes, he landed on the passage formed by dusk. Unable to resist, Klein could only fall and jump down the cliff. I'm sorry. I think we're going to run into Trissy in the city. It's over. Volume 5 ends with her falling down, right? The abyss. The crater, right? Maybe because it's like an inverted mausoleum. There's like some connection. What? There's like maybe because she fell down, just like they're jumping down this cliff. Come on. The cope is insane. It's not cope. It's hope. We're hoping. And then we run into her. She's dead. She's not dead, bro. I'm never gonna fucking buy that, bro. To the day I die, she's dead. I'm never gonna buy that. I will believe that if she does not come back in volume 1, in book 1. I will believe she is truly dead until the end of this volume 8. If she doesn't come back after book 1, she dead. She dead. But I know she's gonna come back. She'd be such a perfect Terror Club member, dude. Unable to resist, Klein could only follow and jump down the cliff. The cope is so bad, it's never, man. It's never. Maybe I'm just down bad for her and I want her back. Who knows? She's such a good character, dude. She's not a good character. She's a well-written character, right? That's what I mean. All right, next chapter. Cope harder? Harder. Gotta cope harder, definitely. Next chapter. So hard to type. She doesn't even... Wait, hold it before we finish reading that. One sec. Update this. She doesn't even qualify for the Terror Club. She could, man. She could qualify. Chapter 1154 is called I'll Give You a Chance. Okay, chance for what? The path that was formed by dust didn't seem to contain anything, but after Amon and Klein landed one after another, they didn't continue falling, as though they were walking on the ground. This time, Amon didn't steal the distance. Instead, he brought Klein along as they approached the majestic projection of the giant king's court. From time to time, he would observe the and admire the beautiful scenery, walk above the sea of clouds, then walk along a sunset bridge with a legendary palace in the distance. It was supposed to be a joyful and refreshing matter, but Klein felt as though he was walking into the abyss, doing so one step at a time. But the more he struggled, the deeper he fell. Once he entered the forsaken land of gods, many things that he relied on would be useless. Before long, Amon and Klein arrived at the projection of the Giant King's court and stood in front of the tallest building. On one side of the building was a steeple, and on the other side was a spire. The main door was far more than 10 meters tall, with it being mainly a grayish blue color. It was covered with symbols, labels, and patterns. It was where the Giant King lived, the place where Dark Angel Sasir slept. Oh shit! Do we wake him? Klein glanced at the pitch black hole to the left of the door, roughly determined that the door in the dream didn't need a key to open. Otherwise, the true creator believers wouldn't have been able to pass through. After all, the actual key back then was in Vice Admiral Iceberg's collection room. Next, we'll be able to enter the forsaken land of gods once the door is open. However, we'll definitely attract the attention of others by doing so. Amon chortled and took a few steps diagonally to the edge of the door. We won't open the door, but instead directly head over? Just go over the door? As he spoke, the Angel of Time raised his hand and adjusted his monocule. A dark blue color appeared in the corner of the grayish-blue door. It was an illusory door without any sense of being corporeal. The door-opening power of the apprentice is a very low-level ability, but it's perfect when used here. The door-opening power of an apprentice is a very low-level ability, but it's perfect when used here. Ah, so you don't attract anybody. Amon lowered his right hand and introduced in satisfaction. Taking 2 steps, he passed through the illusory door. There are no useless beyonder powers, only useless beyonders. If I directly push the door open, I'll draw the attention of others, but from who the true creator, his holy residence, his divine kingdom should be somewhere in the forsaken lands of gods. If I can lure him over and let him clash with Amon, I might be able to find a chance to escape. Without any ability to control himself, Klein followed behind Amon without leaving much of a gap, stepping into the blurry dark blue door. The moment he stepped through it, he felt the world spin around him. Even his spirituality seemed to be torn apart. After the abnormality disappeared and his condition was restored, he realized that he was on a bench that was soaked in the glow of sunset. There's a lot of light in this volume. The sand and stones here were all in black in color. Deep blue waves surged from afar as if they were crashed into the coast, one wave after another, but they didn't produce any sounds like they should have. They were quiet like a grand illusion. This sea is an illusion. Coming in would probably result in the appearing here, but it's not necessarily the case for leaving. It's not... Wait, what? Coming in would probably result in an appearing here, but it's not necessarily the case when leaving. According to the principle of reciprocity, if one wants to leave, they can open the resistance of the Giant King where Dark Angel Sasir is in deep sleep. With a sudden realization, Klein turned his head and looked in another direction. It was a mountain bathed in dusk. On it were countless places, towers, and many majestic city walls. This was the legendary Giant King's court. Even if the City of Silver could find a path and lead to the beach, it would be meaningless. From the corner of his eyes, he saw that Amon had changed his image. His image? Oh, is he wearing like his magic robe now? He wore a black classical robe and pointed top hat. God, okay, he's wearing the... Okay, he's wearing the... Like, he's wearing his OG drip. All right, so he took away the suit and tie, and now he's in his magician robe, or his black classical robe and pointed top hat. Oh, hell yeah. I said that word wrong. Yeah, I know, Mick. He changed from being a gentleman from the present era to an ancient mage that originated from the 4th or even the 3rd epoch. With a thought, Klein continued looking at the Giant King's court, which wasn't too far away. He casually said, Dark Angel Sasir is sleeping in the place of the Giant King court. Amon stood to his side and said, he looked in the same direction and said without any change in expression, I know I've entered the Giant King's court and even visited the graves of Armir's parents, as expected. Now he's in his drip out uniform. As expected, one of Klein's guesses was finally confirmed. He deliberated and said, what answers are you searching for? You can make a guess. Amon continued looking at the Giant King's court and laughed. If I had an idea, I wouldn't need to ask you. After thinking for a few seconds, he said, some secrets of the 1st epoch? You can say that. Amon replied without much concern. Klein hesitated for a moment before saying, aren't you curious? What is that on the floor? Oh, it's the necklace. Klein hesitated for a moment before saying, aren't you curious about Dark Angel Sasir's condition? I am. Amon didn't change the direction of his gaze, and he said with a smile, but compared to me, there are still too many people who are more interested in that. My zealous brother, the Hanged Man, the Dragon of Betrayal, as well as the Evernight, Storm, and White. I want to see who's the first one who isn't able to hold back, If I can steal everything of importance inside of... steal everything? If I can steal everything of importance inside at the critical moment, their expressions will definitely be interesting. This thought, the reasoning for stirring up such a huge matter was purely to cause trouble, to gain some excitement. Excitement? Do you understand who's the hanged man Amon? I do not know. Who's the hanged man? Like Lords of Storms? Storms, right? Is that what he's talking about? Or is he, when he's saying hanged man, or oh, the true creator, he's, when he sees the hanged man, he's talking about the true creator, because he was hung upside down, the hanged man. Yeah, no, I said it before Milosh. I said it before you guys said it. No, I know. The hanged man, the true creator, the fallen creator. My bad. Yeah, hanged man is the true creator. No, okay, we're good. Huh? If I can steal everything of importance inside of the critical moment, their expressions will definitely be very interesting. This thought, the reason for stirring up such a huge matter was purely to cause trouble, to gain some excitement. Klein frowned slightly and realized that Amon's value was different from other humans. Different from that of humans? This is a natural mythical creature, completely different from humans. Why can I frown on my own? Just as he came to realization, he sensed that something was missing in his body. He subconsciously turned his head to look at Blaster Amon. What did he steal? There was a semi-translucent worm of time with 12 rings in Amon's hand. He smiled as he looked into Klein's eyes and said with some anticipation, "Since we've already arrived in the forsaken lands of gods, there's no need to worry about external interference. I'll give you a chance. Before I reach my true destination, I would no longer parasitize you. You can use every method that you can think of to escape, and I will try..." What the fuck? Are we playing hide and seek? You can use every method that you can think of to escape, and I will try my best to stop you. Good luck. Don't disappoint me. I'm sorry. Is Amon just fucking bored? What is going on? Cat and mouse? For a moment, Klein couldn't believe what Amon had just said. Oh, that's what it's called. I'll give you a chance. For a moment, Klein couldn't believe what Amon had just said. He suspected Amon was bluffing him, but when he thought of Amon's behavior all this while, he felt that it was something that was in line with his character. All right. As his thoughts raced, he took a deep breath and solemnly replied under the orange glow of the sunset. Backland Parliament House. Due to King George III's sudden self-destruction... self-destruction. Oh shit. Due to King George III's sudden self-destruction, none of the nobles and members of the parliament were allowed to return to their respective homes. Instead, they were gathered here to recite... Let me lower the volume. They were gathered here to receive heavy protection from the three churches of the military. Dressed in pure black dress, Audrey stood behind the railing of the second floor and quietly looked down. As the matter had happened too suddenly and lacked any prior warning, he still found it surreal despite receiving some indication from the world of German Sparrow. She seemed to have transcended reality as was watching a performance. Her father, brother, and other nobles and members of the parliament were gathered in cliques, as they occupied different small rooms. From time to time, one would walk out of the small room, bringing with them the stench of smoke and their gentlemanly attire as they rushed to another discussion circle. The ladies and madmen sat in the lounge. Most of them had yet to return to their senses as their eyes were dazed and their bodies trembling. The parliamentary staff and the military middle and the low-ranking officer were running about everything, transmitting information from different places. A soldier dressed in a red shirt and white pants walked in front of them and handed out a stack of paper to an officer in the charge of hall. Dude, I want to go back, dude. I don't care about this point of view. I want to go back to freaking Amon. I was about to say Derek. I want to go back to literally Amon. I need to see what's going on over there, dude, with him and Klein. The officer glanced at it and immediately called for assistance. He pointed to the small room where the Earl Hall and the rest were in. Without asking anything, the adjutant took the documents and ran towards his destination. All of this happened in a very quiet environment. Only the sound of footsteps and the faint whispers echoed in the air. It was as if it was a huge oil painting drawn on the canvas of the real world. The gorgeous decoration, dark color, dim lights, and the expressions of everyone's face created an extremely heavy atmosphere. Audrey pursed her lips slightly and looked at it for a while. Her mood was still at a nadir, as she only managed to maintain her calm by relying on placate. Why would Mr. World deal with the king? The death of the king will definitely bring deep hatred. It doesn't matter what sequence the king is because he has never shown it. This doesn't affect the overall strength of the kingdom, but this incident is enough to explain one thing. The three churches, royal families, and military have fractured apart. The internal strife is quite serious. The situation with Lowen will be very dangerous. Its enemies will definitely not let this opportunity go. As her thoughts raced, she saw a man in the black coat rush in a parliament house. He suppressed his voice and started talking to the officers in charge of the lobby. Did I skip a page? No, we're good. As an experienced spectator who could observe the subtle expression and body language, reading lips was undoubtedly Audrey's strength. As she watched, she interpreted the corresponding content. Intis had used the excuse of conflict in the borders of Hornica's mountain range to gather a large number of troops there. Audrey bit her lips lightly as that familiar feeling of not belonging to those arose again. It was as if she had seen a novel description play out in the real world. The grayness of the sky seemed to grow thicker. No one spoke in the house where the Morettis lived. I'm sorry, we're going back with the Morettis? He wants to aura farm. Amon is going for the spectacles. I'm excited to see what happens, dude. Benson stood behind the oriel window with a sullen expression as he looked at the people rushing down the streets. It was unknown what he was thinking. As I raise the volume a bit, what he was thinking. Melissa sat on the sofa beside the coffee table. She lowered her head and looked at the crude machinery she made. It was as if she had become a statue. The situation had become even more chaotic. Benson exhaled as he touched his hairline. He turned his head back and forced a smile. Regardless, Backland. Oh man, this is exciting, dude. I lost my place. Oh my god. Melissa aside, regardless, Backland is definitely safer than most places, not for long. Melissa didn't raise her head. Instead, she said with an ethereal voice, Klein found a good job, and our lives gradually improved. In the end, an accident took him away. We moved out of Tingen, and you got a job as a civil servant. I entered university and started on the correct path. In the end, war broke out. It was easy for us to get used to this environment. We were praying that the war would end early. In the end, the king was blown to pieces. Imagine if they knew it was Klein that was involved in that. Having said that, Melissa slowly lifted her head and looked at her brother with a confused expression. Benson, is it that difficult to obtain and maintain a better life than we had before? Oh man. Benson, is it that difficult to obtain and maintain a better life than what we had before? Oh man, I'm about to fucking cry. I gotta now think about that. Look at that. Ooh. Oh man, that got to me, man. That one line from Melissa. Oh man, that has me feeling some kind of way. Oh shit. All right, let's keep reading, man. Oh shit, man, that got me feeling something. All right. Oh man, I'm fucking sad now. 57 minutes times that. 57 minutes, 20 seconds. Beautiful. Poor Melissa. Poor Melissa getting PTSD. When they get a better life, the world refused to let them go. It's just sad, man. No matter how much they try and get a better life, it's all chaotic. It's all, oh my god. What if this is all part of Adam's plan, man? No, I'm gonna shut up now. No. They live happily ever after. Chapter 1155 is called Walking in the Dark. Oh shit. Klein? Backland Eastboro, Force, who had just returned from the land of the ice and snow, was wrapped in thick layers of clothing. She looked at the burning charcoal stove in front of her as if she had fallen into a terrible environment again. She couldn't help but shiver a few times. George III is already dead. The things that happened before will definitely come to an end. Perhaps we can move out of this place and head to the north borough of Hillstonboro. The houses there have fireplaces. She sat on a chair opposite of her and similarly stared at the warm furnace. She replied with a slightly confused expression, let's wait another week or two. To be honest, I still can't believe that George III was killed so easily. I didn't have time to do anything. This bounty hunter who had become a judge sounded disappointed, confused, and puzzled. It felt as though she had lost her motivation in life. Forrest temporarily forgot about the damage caused by the cold as she consoled her. I don't think that this was done by German Sparrow. It was done by those people who used Charmaine. All right. They were the only ones investigating the secret motives of George III. All right, man. All right. You say that. Your actions have contributed to his death to a certain degree. It's as if you had exacted your revenge in an indirect manner. There shouldn't be any more surveillance or suppressive measures placed against your family. You can try to start a new life. If you have the chance, you might be able to use proper channels to make an appeal for your father. Upon hearing the last few sentences, Shio raised her head. Yes, the situation is getting more and more chaotic now. I'm worried that they'll be affected by the war. Forrest, do you think it's safer to be in Backland or to be in an ordinary city that isn't near the borders? Forrest thought for a few seconds and shook her head calmly. I don't know. She added, I plan to ask Mr. Dorr. He must have a better grasp of the overall situation. Do you still remember? He warned us beforehand that something would happen around George III and to avoid the approaching him. In addition, Forrest also wanted to ask where the next stop of hers travels would be so that she could make preparations early. Yes, Shio nodded instantly. Forrest flipped through the newspaper she supported with her knees, and she drank the coffee she had left. Then she slowly got up and entered the room inside. She prayed to Mr. Fool in a low voice, asking him to pass her questions to the world German Sparrow. And the Forsaken Lands of Gods near the Giant King's court without being parasitized. At a deeper level, Klein followed Amon to the foot of the mountain, and that's where he lets him go? Oh shit. In the frozen dust, they circled the front of the mythical land. Wow, that's crazy. In the frozen dusk, they circled the front of the mythical land. Although Amon had given him a chance to escape, he wasn't in a hurry to do so, just because he knew very well that Amon had the strength and level of at least sequence 2. He was an angel in the truest sense of the word, and an entity he couldn't fight head on. Besides, a marauder who was known as an error, a loophole, a bug. Its powers were very strange, making it impossible to guard against. Klein believed that whatever normal means he could come up with to save himself would be ineffective. How do you even fight this, bro? Like, this shit is going to be such a abstract, like, psychological, mythological battle. And I'm like, they're not just going to clash, bro. Like, oh my God. I was getting so lost in Volume 5. I need to lock in. I need to read slow. I need to lock in. I need to catch my breath because these next fights, I'm kind of scared, bro. I'm getting scared. You don't fight, but you fool him. Yes, we have to fool him in some way, shape, or form to not fight him. I'm scared. And maybe that's how we digest our potion. If we fool him in the fight, I think that's how we advance the sequence too. I could only stay patient and wait for an opportunity that can be used. During this process, I have to keep making attempts to observe Amon's response. Yes, I still have to take note of a problem. I can't believe anything Amon said. He has already retrieved the worm of time and removed my parasitized state. At least in terms of my condition, he isn't lying, but this might not be the whole truth. I can't rule out the possibility that he has left a worm of time lurking in my body. Yeah, he probably has another one. He might take control of my body at a critical moment. As these thoughts surfaced in Klein's mind, he chatted with Amon, asked about Dark Angel Sasir. However, he saw that nearby in the distance, the dusk was fading away as darkness blanketed the area. Lightning bolts that snarled from time to time lit up half the sky. I'm sorry, how's he supposed to sleep in the dark, man? That sounds fucking scary. They have arrived at the boundary of the Giant King's court and we're about to leave the mythical kingdom. Once I'm in the darkness, I'll either evaporate into the thin air and encounter a sudden terrifying monster attack. With a thought, Klein pretended not to know anything as he continued to proceed forward. He went from the orange dusk into the deep darkness. At this moment, Amon in his black classical robe and pointed hat, accompanied with a monocle, reached out of his hand. He had pulled back a lantern covered in an animal. He has a lantern. To what chapter is easy? We're going to do like 2 hours, at least for this part. Do you not sleep with the lights off easy? I sleep with the lights off, yeah. If I'm Klein right here, I'm going to keep all the fucking lights on. Inside the lantern, a candle. I do leave sometimes a light on for Ellie, just so it's not completely dark for her, because I do feel bad. So I usually have this thing on at night, or I have this on very low. You should read 6 hours? I know, I definitely do read in 6 hours. Inside the lantern, a candle made of some unknown oil emitted a faint yellow light and a slightly pungent smell. Carry it, Amon threw the lantern at Klein. Oh, so he's good at nighttime. Klein caught the lantern and fell silent. A few seconds later, he probed, where did you get this from? At that moment, Klein imagined that Amon had summoned a projection from the historical void. Amon pinched the crystal monocle and said with a smile, I stole it from the human camp up ahead. Oh, that's the... Oh my god, we're going there. That's the City of Silver's afternoon town camp. Holy shit, we're gonna fucking run into Derek. It was stolen. Klein's eyelids twitched. He didn't ask further as he carried the lantern into the endless darkness. Wait, didn't we leave it? Didn't we leave afternoon town? The dim yellow light was like an invisible defensive barrier as it quietly spread out, creating a warm zone in the dark night. At this moment, the lightning in the sky kept flashing. The gap between them was rather long, and there was almost no thunder. It occasionally boomed. According to the general knowledge he had learned from Lil Sun, this was nighttime in the Forsaken Lands of Gods. It was the most dangerous period. Oh shit, dude. As he proceeded forward, he first used the faceless powers, which he had undergone a qualitative change. Together, oh, he changes his persona. Following that, he used his spiritual perception to survey... Wait, I skipped something. As he proceeded forward, he used the faceless powers, which he had undergone a qualitative change. Together with creeping hunger, he adjusted his eye structures to adapt to this special environment. Oh, following that, he used his spiritual perception to survey his surroundings. He felt that in the darkness, there were many eyes staring at him, with creatures of indescribable shapes hiding. Oh, man. However, every time the light lit up and shone brightly, there was nothing. He wasn't worried at all about the serious backlash from using creeping hunger while not feeding it. From his point of view, there were only 2 outcomes. One was that creeping hunger attempted to devour him, but had its thoughts stolen away by Amon. The second was that creeping hunger successfully devoured him. The wearer allowed him to be resurrected, thus escaping from his current predicament. So we're chill with creeping hunger. The latter was something he was looking forward to, while the former didn't offer any losses other than leaving creeping hunger somewhat perplexed. Engrossed in the story, Izugiki didn't notice the phone call. A reasonable consciousness. I gotta check my phone if I'm... And he ends up reading for 6 hours. Oh, shit, you scared me. I actually thought I did miss the phone call, dude. Oh, shit, that is so funny. I really thought I missed a phone call. After proceeding forward with a wall, he saw the City of Silver's afternoon town camp that was built using an abandoned building. Beyond those boulders and walls that were formed by a stone pillar, the bonfire quietly burned and illuminated most of the areas inside, making them completely different from the outside world. The members of the City of Silver exploration team were either patrolling or watching the area under the lights illuminated to prevent any accidents. One of them was a Dawn Paladin who is nearly 2.3 meters tall. Which Paladin is this? He was standing at the top of the stronghold and looking into the distance, wary of the monsters hiding in the darkness. Suddenly, he saw a faint yellow flame. Oh, shit, it's Klein, dude. Suddenly, he saw a faint yellow flame coming from afar in the darkness. This Dawn Paladin's pupils dilated as his heart raced. Apart from the newborns and children who had yet to receive education, everyone in the City of Silver knew that this land had been forsaken by God. No one else would use the fire in the darkness to create light. Shit, dude, this is so sick. Even monsters who were good at controlling flames would be hidden in a dark environment before they attacked. As for the other humans, all the cities of the City of Silver had discovered to date had already been destroyed and turned to ruins. There were no survivors. The only outsider they had seen to date was a strange little boy, Jack. And at that moment, a flame appeared in the depths of darkness, one that was constantly moving. What does this mean? The Dawn Paladin... Dude, my heart is racing. The Dawn Paladin, who was standing in the stronghold, couldn't think of anything at that moment. He could only feel his body trembling slightly. The dim yellow light slowly approached from afar. It passed by the campsite and headed beyond Afternoon Town. Vaguely, the Dawn Paladin saw the two silhouettes that belonged to the humans. They walked deep into the darkness, and their silhouettes were strangely illuminated by the light. Holding what looked like a lantern, they slowly left the camp and disappeared into the endless darkness. At some point in time, the Dawn Paladin was already holding his breath until the faint yellow light was completely gone. There are other humans. No, that can't be humans. The Dawn Paladin's eyes narrowed as he carefully turned around and informed the elder of the six-member council persisting over the camp. Oh shit, who is it? At this moment, he discovered that one of the lanterns hanging on a stone pillar was missing. This Dawn Paladin body stiffened as a cold sweat broke out of his I can't read. As a cold sweat broke out of his forehead. As he walked away from Afternoon Town, Klein endured the stares of numerous pairs of eyes in the depths of darkness. He secretly made use of the powers of a Scholar of Yore, as well as his connection with Sephira Castle, to sense the grayish-white fog that was interwoven through history. He had succeeded. These last 3 volumes about to be like, oh man, it's gotta go by quickly, dude. Oh shit. And the next second, this thought disappeared. The corners of Amon's mouth curled up slightly as he walked beside him. The hanged man, wait, I skipped something. He had succeeded. Oh, I skipped a whole paragraph. This proved that the Forsaken Lands of Gods wasn't isolated from Sephira Castle. Oh, so we can still have our meetings. No shit. If Klein was able to get... If Derek was able to get summoned, then we shouldn't be isolated from Sephira Castle. The holy residence of the true creator, or even the divine kingdom, it's located in the Piece of Land. In the Piece of Land, if I were to trigger Sephira Castle and create an anomaly, would it cause him to cast his gaze over and clash with Amon? Who? He is a true god. I don't have extravagant hopes in escaping in chaos, but I can seize the opportunity to commit unaliving when he is dealing with Amon. With a thought, Klein... Dude, this guy is being very unaliving right now. Unalivable. Oh, shit. This is... Unalivable? We're talking about True Creator, right? True Creator? Okay. With a thought, Klein wanted to make Sephira Castle quake slightly. In the next second, his thoughts disappeared. The corners of Amon's mouth curled up slightly as he walked beside him. The hanged man has no interest... Oh, he has no interest. The hanged man has no interest in Sephira Castle. Of course, his rationality might not be consistent. Klein didn't have extravagant hopes that his impulsive thought could truly succeed. He mainly wanted to test Amon's reaction to see what his response was. At that moment, he didn't feel depressed, nor did he hide his curiosity in asking questions. The hangman is referring to the sequence 0 of the Shepherd Pathway. Amon nodded slightly and said, that's right, this symbolizes the generation of... Yeah, we know that. This symbolizes degeneration. Of course, if you want to explain it in a positive light, this is a sacrifice and a responsibility. Klein thought for a moment before probing. I thought this was a nickname you came up with, just like Medici. Based on what he knew, the true creator was born because of the Rose redemption. It was very likely related to the death of the ancient sun god. Therefore, he wanted to know what kind of attitude Amon had towards this evil god, and whether it was the same as his brother. Amon nudged his monocle and chuckled. I've always respected the gods. To have a blasphemer say this sounds really contradictory. Helpless. Klein put a stop to the topic. Thinking. Next chapter's called Thinking, man. I'm over here thinking. What the fuck? Let's update. Let me step outside and grab a bag of chips, man, because I'm fucking hungry. Hold up. Give me a sec. I'm going to bring a fucking bag of chips. I'm going to pig out right now. Just give me like 20 seconds. Forsaken Land of the Gods is also the true creator's house. I'm pumped, man. I'm fucking pumped. All right. Let me grab a bag of chips. One sec. Oh. Let me get some fuel. Give me a sec. Flaming hot. Let's fucking keep reading, man. This is getting good. Nice. Those are great. Dude, these are so good. I eat them in a minute. I always like the puffs since they kind of like evaporate once you chew it. Not evaporate. They kind of like condense. You can technically eat more. You can stuff more in your stomach and not be full. That's why I like them. Woo! All right, next chapter. Chapter 1156 is called Thinking. I love it. Shit, I'm salivating, man. Those hot Cheeto puffs are so good. It's gonna be a bad read-through chapter. Easy. Try some cucumber flavored Lay's. Okay. I'll look into that. Most of the heirs in the Forsaken Lands gods didn't have paths that one would consider normal, but it wasn't that difficult to walk through them. This was because large swaths of the lands were barren. Everything was mostly black in color. On the moors, On their moors, there were occasional sightings of plants that stubbornly grew. There were of a variety of strange shapes and distorted sizes. Klein had no way to tell what they originally were. Around them, in the areas that the lantern couldn't illuminate, the darkness seemed to have a life of its own. It seemed to move silently, as though it wanted to devour everything that they could blanket. As a scholar viewer, Klein just needed one glance from the corner of his eye to see the spirit-body threads extended out from the darkness around him. They were illusionary, dense, and countless. This meant that there were many monsters lurking in the darkness. Oh shit, there's a lot of them. Oh shit. Oh, we forgot to change chapter. God, thank you. Good catch. Good catch, good catch. Awesome catch. Thank you. Thank you, Zen. Good catch. These monsters were extremely silent. They stared at Amon, who were dressed as an ancient mage, as well as Klein, who looked like a present-day gentleman. Under the dim yellow light, they walked through the wilderness with his eyes fixed ahead. Klein casually held the animal hide lantern in his hand, not worried about when it would be extinguished. Just as the two of them were about to leave this barren wilderness and enter a hilly region, a deformed monster of mangled flesh with 2 heads and 5 arms suddenly trembled in the darkness behind them. It had become Klein's marionette, he controlled it already. Controlling spirit-body threads was silent to begin with, and it wasn't more than 500 meters away. In the next second, the monster collapsed silently, losing its life. Walking to Klein's left, Amon was wearing a pointed hat. Smiled. He raised his right hand and opened his palm and revealing something. It was a transparent maggot with 3-dimensional patterns, a worm of spirit. This was stolen from the marionette along with the spirit-body threads. Is he not going to let him use them? Without waiting for Klein to speak, Amon easily crushed the transparent maggot with his fingers. Oh, you can't use them. Klein immediately felt a pain that came from deep within his soul. His head felt that it was about to split open. Thankfully, he had gotten used to this feeling from him repeating creating yesterday once more charms and controlling spirit bullets. He only grimaced without losing his composure. Amon maintained his smile and threw down his palm. You're too reserved. You can be more daring? Oh, shit, dude. You're too reserved. You can be more daring. Having recovered from his pain, Klein raised his hand to rub his temples. Feeling exhausted, every worm of spirit was calling for him to rest. As he was being chased by Zartul, the spirituality that he borrowed from his past self had been mostly expended. There was still the continuous traveling after that. By using Angel's Embrace to remove the traces, he was already nearing his limit. After return to his safe zone, he had planned on going above the Grey Fog to check on his surroundings before entering the deep sleep, and replenishing his energy. Alas, he ended up suffering an ambush from Amon, which resulted in him being parasitized. What? He's just fucking around with him. He had been tormented all the way to the forsaken lands of gods. If he was in a perilous situation, he might have fainted or shown signs of losing control. Whoa, wait. He's recalling it. No, I need to rest down. Klein put down his right hand and said frankly. He believed that Amon would satisfy his request, because the more he felt at escaping despite trying his best, the more he could satisfy this god of mischief's desire for entertainment. Alright, the monocle Amon's face turned slightly. What the fuck is this going? Dude, this is wild, dude. What is this fucking dynamic? Alright, the monocle Amon's face turned slightly, and as he said facing the hillside, my arms. There's a resting place there. We'll arrive soon. Of course, I don't mind if you want to camp out in the wilderness. I just feel that you humans might prefer a place that gives you a sense of security. Let's go there. Klein originally wanted to directly control the flame on the lantern to complete a flaming jump, but his drained spirituality stopped him. He could only follow Amon and rely on his feet to move forward. Along the way, with a mind of asking for more questions, he said to Amon, "Why don't you steal the distance to immediately arrive?" Oh, you can do that? Why don't you steal the Wait, no, that has happened before. Why don't you steal the distance to immediately arrive at our destination? Amon turned his head and glanced at... I don't want to do it. Amon turned his head and glanced at Klein with his monocle right eye, the corners of his lips curled up slightly. I'm not the one who wants your ass. Klein shut his mouth and quietly walked forward. After about 10 bolts of lightning flashes, Amon raised his hands and pointed diagonally ahead. We're here. In the shadows of a hill less than 100 meters away, there were a few buildings that looked like half steeples. More than 10 giant stone pillars protruded out from the ground, reached only the height of Klein's knees. After a few strands of wild grass grew out from the crevices, their blade-like tips were dark red like blood. There used to be people living here. Klein rubbed his temples and asked, nudging the monocle with his right index finger. Klein, right index... Oh my god, I can't speak. My nose is getting congested. Nudging the monocle with his right index finger, a second joint, Amon smiled and said, this place used to be a very large city. When the cataclysm happened, the land cracked open and devoured the entire city, leaving behind only these structures to prove that they once existed. The destruction of civilization, this thought suddenly popped in Klein's mind. He sped up his pace and arrived at a destination where there were strange wild grass. After entering a half-collapsed building, Klein instinctively looked around and observed the place. The grayish-white stone walls that had cracked open had murals that had been washed away by thousands of years. They were already indiscernible, and he could tell that people in the city believed that entering heaven after death was an honor. After regulating his breath, Klein threw away the animal hide lantern in his hand. Leaning against a thick stone pillar, he barely managed to imagine layers of spherical lights. Amon helping Klein learn history? I like it. I think this is going to be a good chemistry. He didn't care about the dangers of sleeping in such an environment. Let the danger come strike harder. Before he fell asleep, Klein shouted in his heart. The black-robed Amon glanced at him before casually sitting down beside him and snapping his fingers. The candle that was about to burn out of the lantern stopped melting, but the dim yellow light continued to spread. Despite only having fuel to last a few more minutes, it seemed to be able to last for another few hours or even days. Okay, so we're good. Awesome. It was like an error. Oh, it was like an error that violated the laws of nature. Look at him trying to help him a little. Okay, after an unknown period of time of feeling groggy, Klein finally received his energy and was woken up by Miss Magician's prayers. Oh shit, so we can communicate. I'm on erroring the lamp. That's wild. I wonder what else you can do, dude. I wonder if you can, like, error your... But, like, no... Oh shit, you're right. It's luring them in. Yeah, it's true. We do want the lamp to go out. But I do find it cool. Like, I wonder if he can, like, error his mana supply. Or, like, his spirituality. Right? Like, so, like, rather than him getting exhausted, he can, like, oh, there was an error in his spirituality, and thus he has a surplus. Can he error? I don't know if he can do that one. He was temporarily unable to respond to his. He closed his eyes and pretended that he was still dreaming. Without being parasitized at a deeper level, I don't think Amon can monitor my thoughts. He can only tell if my thoughts are harming to him. Oh, so not necessarily, he can't see everything. With a thought, he secretly summoned the grayish-white fog. He had borrowed a state from his past self through the historical void, a state that wasn't directly meant for escaping. That was when Hyven Rambus invaded his island of consciousness. That was a while ago. This attempt wasn't stopped or stolen. Using this state and the fact that he was able to maintain his lucidity in dreams and the mind world regarding of any of his intrusions. He split... Fuck my arms. He split a portion of his self-awareness. Man, these needles, they hurt, man. They hurt today. He split... Man, I had to do that today. Why did I have to go get my blood drawn today? He split a portion of his self-awareness and stayed in the spiritual sky, calmly looking down at the island. He began to examine if there were any abnormalities in his mind and thoughts that were being parasitized. After a series of strict comparisons, he confirmed that there was nothing wrong with his mind. Okay, so it's chill. There was nothing wrong with his mind world. In other words, even if there were still a worm of time in his body, it was still considered being parasitized at a superficial level. It was impossible to monitor his thoughts. After finding such a safe zone, Klein finally released his repressed thoughts and analyzed the current situation. He considered the subsequent methods for self-preservation. Amon is a god of mischief and also a god of deceit. It's impossible that he is playing this game purely for his entertainment. If he really wants to do that, he can definitely wait until he meets with his true body and steals my fate. He can attempt it after obtaining Sephiric House, so that way, even if something unexpected happens, his main goal will also be achieved and he wouldn't suffer any losses. He'd be good. What is his goal behind this matter? If I can grasp the crux of this matter, I might be able to discover true freedom. It's like Attack on Titan, man. Freedom, dude. Also, after he recited the luck enhancement ritual incantation in Mandarin, he actually didn't show any concern towards this special language, nor did he ask any questions. This totally doesn't match the sense of curiosity that he portrays. Maybe he already knows Mandarin. Did he deliberately use the word bug to probe me so as to see what connections I'll make? But he didn't steal my thoughts, not if all my ideals are disjointed from one object. Bro, this dude is such an enigma. I wouldn't be able to discover that they've been stolen. Klein recalled the situation back then, and he used the logical connections between his thoughts to confirm that he hadn't had his thoughts stolen. This made him confirm one thing. That was that being parasitized at a deeper level, Amon could directly monitor his thoughts without stealing it. Amon made it seem that he had to notice malintent before he took action. It was a bluff. It was a bluff? I knew it. This deeper level of parasitization seems to be different from what Palas described. Based on this deduction, the thoughts that I've been thinking of all along that they had been heard by Amon, including Earth, fellow Earthlings, and child education. How terrifying. Thankfully, when I was plotting to destroy the advancement ritual of George III, I had imagined the perilous situation of being parasitized by Amon. Half of my thoughts were instinctive reactions, while the other half was intentionally let loose. This way, not only do I reveal my secrets, but I can also use this to gain Amon's trust, concealing the most important and core matters. For now, he definitely knows that I plan to obtain more historical secrets from him so as to quickly digest the Scholar of Your portion. However, he doesn't know that I'm not far from being able to fully digest it. I'm just a few steps short of just one opportunity away. That fast? Did Amon deliberately remove the parasite and play such a game with me because he had once heard of Earth from ancient sun god and had come into contact with some secrets? He plans on using my attempt to save myself to complete certain matters that might be inconvenient or impossible for him. If that's the case, there will definitely be something happening next. Yes, I have to show that I didn't notice this and still plan on escaping like a normal person. Once I return to my optimal state, I'll make my first attempt. After a while, Klein opened his eyes. The pointed hat wearing Amon sat beside him and smiled. Have you decided where are you going to take action? He acted as if he was in Klein's partners and not the target for which Klein was trying to escape. Like, yeah, dude, we're partners in crime in this situation. What the fuck? Oh, shit. 1157. All right, man. Let's keep reading. Chips. Hold up. Chip break. Well, Klein knows so much history. Yeah, he is part of history. Since he was in a cocoon for so long. You're so close to the peak chapter. That's exciting. All right, let me do my timestamp. That's fucking high, Bloomin'. Hold up, let me do my timestamp. Shit. Don't stop reading? I know. We're gonna keep going. Hopefully, I think we can go a little bit longer. I think we can go a little bit longer than 2 hours. Hopefully, knock on wood. I think we can go a little bit longer than 2 hours. Chapter 1157 is called Poise. Klein pressed down on the grayish white wall and slowly sat up straight. He smiled and shook his head. I don't know where we go, man. Before I fill my stomach, my brain refuses to work. Like, I don't know why, like, Amon just wants to be entertained, man. Like, I don't unhinged, unknown. I would love to go to 170. I don't know if I definitely don't think I'm gonna make it there today, but maybe tomorrow. I'm excited, bro. I don't know where we go from here. Like, why is he bringing him here? Thank you for bringing that up, by the way, dude. I didn't realize he digested 70% of his potion after that. Gotta believe. I gotta believe. Chapter 1157 is called Poise. Klein pressed down on the grayish white wall and slowly sat up straight. He smiled and shook his head. Before I finish my stomach, my brain refuses to work. He was speaking the truth and also a lie. I'm sorry, is he like Sunny? Half truth, half lies? He's Sunny, right? With his flaw. He was speaking the truth and also a lie. This is because before becoming a complete mythical creature, a saint will still be hungry and thirsty, but to a Seeking 3 demigod, not eating or drinking for half a month wasn't a problem. As for a whole mythical creature, eating was only a hobby, not a necessity. Knock on the wood so you cannot hear the phone ring. Just knock on wood. What he wanted to express was that before he officially made attempts at escaping, he needed to be in optimal condition, the habit of a magician. Amon commented with a smile, I'm not in charge of providing food, but you can think of a solution yourself. It's fucking bitch. Like, you do it, dude. Looking at the lantern on the ground, Klein thought for a few seconds before reaching out his right hand into the air. A not-so-tall coffee table immediately appeared in front of him. It was an item from the residence belonging to Dwayne Dantes. Under the dim yellow light, Klein reached out once again to summon a beautifully packed box from the historical void. Inside the box was a set of cutlery, including a knife, fork, and cup. Look at this dude being all fancy. The reason why he chose this item was because he couldn't form a set of cutlery by individually summoning them. He could only maintain 3 images from the historical void at the same time. After setting up the cutlery in a leisurely manner, Klein politely turned his head to the side and nodded at the pointed hat wearing Amon. Following that, he summoned a medium, well-done steak covered in a black peppered sauce. I landed it on the porcelain plate, emitting some steam. Damn, that sounds good. With him slicing the meat with his knife, he revealed the remaining edge of the pink protein. Klein forked a piece of beef and stuffed it into his mouth. He felt that the texture... I feel like I'm reading Food Wars over here. He felt that the texture was real and the texture was succulent. It wasn't fake at all, and it was really calmed the anxiety of his stomach. For 15 minutes, not only will I not feel hungry, but I will also receive real provisions. After swallowing the piece of beef, Klein smiled and introduced it to Amon like a hospital host, and not a pitiful beyonder who had been kidnapped. Amon pressed the crystal molecule and nodded with a smile. I've tried it. It's not bad. He did try it. He was eating steak last time when he was in Backland. Your ability to adapt is really quick. Are you really not considering being my blessed? Oh, he wants him to be his blessed so badly now. Oh, dude, he wants him. No, there's no... Dude, Amon, bro, he's being a little on the nose. He's going to be so tsundere. It's like, oh, no. Are you sure you want to be my blessed? Or no, reverse tsundere. Be my fucking blessed. At the end of this volume, be my blessed. Cuttlefish described food sensually since volume 1. He's been doing it. Yeah, he's never missed. After cutting another chunk of beef, Klein forked it up and replied as though he was chatting with a friend. Kill me. At that moment, a relative frequent lightning and endless darkness ruled the land. Wherever... Dude, this is so wild. The fact that we're just in, like, the Forsaken Lands eating beef with Amon. Kill me. Clip that? What'd I say? Bruh? I don't even know what I said. What'd I say? What'd I say? Wait, what'd I say? I'm just talking out loud. What'd I say? The be my blessed part? Wherever the light from the surroundings couldn't shine on, eyes were staring at the area with zero emotion. The twisted, dark red grass gently swayed in the occasional breeze. In the half-collapsed building, the dim yellow light painted the aristic coffee table in the exquisite cutlery with warm colors. The aroma of steak wafted into the air, not showing any contrast with the outside world that was constantly connected to it. Under the gaze of the terrifying monsters in the depths of darkness, Klein enjoyed a sumptuous meal in a refined and poised manner in the desolate land that was soaked in extreme terror. Clipped. I don't even know what was it. What'd I say? After finishing, now I'm being self-conscious. What'd I say, dude? After finishing his steak, he summoned a small glass of ice wine from Mayor Manor and drank it in one gulp. Following that, cream soup, pan-fried cod, tender lamb, stew with peas, baked potato skins, and all sorts of grape wines were summoned one after another before entering Klein's stomach. During this process, the steak that was the first to be eaten had already been maintained for a long period of time. It had vanished into thin air, but Klein's stomach and body were numbed by the subsequent food that he was oblivious to it. Of course, the coffee table and food replenished, otherwise there wouldn't have lasted to the end of his meal. At the end of the meal, Klein continued reaching out his hand, pulling out a cup of the void. Inside it was a ball of vanilla ice cream. I'm sorry. That sounds like some good ice cream. He then used the spoon to I got a text message, but it wasn't a phone call. He then used the spoon to scoop the ice cream into his mouth, feeling it melt with a delicious sweetness. After the ball was finished, he still wasn't satisfied as he summoned another ball of ice cream from the historical void. As such, this guy has a big-ass appetite, that's for sure. As such, he ate 5 different flavors of ice cream in a consecutive fashion. Oh, man. You know who'd be happy, right? To eat all this ice cream. When Klein reached out his hand from the 6th time, Amon, who was sitting on his side, suddenly laughed. Your fate has an abnormal change. You're lucky enough? Your fate has had an abnormal change. You're lucky enough. Is this your preparation? Klein's right hand immediately froze in midair. His pupils seemed to dilate to a certain extent. Almost at the same time, in the darkness around them, where the lanterns couldn't shine, strange creatures twitched and instantly became Klein's marionettes. This time, Klein sent out 100 worms of spirit in one go, hoping that one of them would be lucky enough to avoid Amon's theft. Right on the heels of that, behind 100? Wouldn't that like completely hurt him if Amon shatters all of them? Right on the heels of that, behind the coffee table, a figure wearing a black coat and no hat was replaced by a disgusting vampire covered in pus. Vampire? The heuristic coffee table and an exquisite cutlery shattered like glass that had smashed to the ground. Countless cracks appeared and shattered. They quickly returned to the historical void just in case it affected Klein's subsequent summoning attempts. Wow, loop. We're in a time loop. I just read that. They quickly returned to the historical void just in case it affected Klein's subsequent summoning attempts. In the next second, the 100 marionettes along with Klein, I can't read. In the next second, the 100 marionettes, along with Klein, who had hidden somewhere, reached out to grab the void. He attempted to avoid Amon's interference with quantity. At that moment, they were all scholars of yore. This was the ability of bizarre sorcerers, the source of a qualitative change of a seer. Of course, the chances of success of each marionette summoning was independent, so there was no influence of each had with the other. At that moment, the projection that Klein was summoning was a projection of Renette Tanker, who had recovered to her peak state. You can do that in the Tudor ruins. Due to the contract and charm, she was the easiest angel projection he could summon from the historical void. Amon was still sitting leisurely in his spot. His molecule emitted a faint glow as he watched a 101 Klein summon at the same time. With his right hand reached out in an orderly manner before being retracted, none of his 100 marionettes succeeded. He didn't drag Renette Tinker out of the void. At that moment, Amon raised his right hand and also grabbed ahead of him. His arm sank slightly as he casually pulled it back. Outside of the half-collapsed building, a huge cloth doll... Oh shit, she's here! A huge cloth doll as huge as the castle appeared. It was wearing a dark and complicated long dress bound by vines. Ancient Bane Renette Tanker. Amon had stolen the historical image that was summoned. Wait, Amon stole that. Amon had stolen the historical image that was summoned by Klein. Renette Tinker's red eyes immediately reflected the figures of Klein's 100 marionettes. Without a sound, the marionettes that were either disguised with Klein's appearance or in the state of a monster emitted a faint glow, turning into horned mountain goats, white rabbits, and other different animals. Transformation curse. Klein's actual body had long disappeared. Then he walked out of the flames. Wait. Klein's actual body disappeared. Then he walked out of the flames that rose up from the animal hide lantern. Got it. He wanted to use flaming jump earlier. He looked at the various animals that might be considered his and suddenly sat down and chuckled. Taking a stroll after a meal effectively improves one's health. He didn't mention anything about his attempt to escape, as if nothing had happened. Amon maintained his relaxed posture and nodded cooperatively. I've read quite a number of books written by humans. There are indeed such opinions among them. Dude, Amon wants him so badly. Ancient Bane has transformation curses. The one she used on Hermes to turn... That's what it was, right? The one she used on Hermes to turn him into the giant rabbit. The giant half-mountain rabbit. Hey, yo, dude. And then we're acting like nothing happened. He doesn't bring up his escape. With that said, he raised his hand and pointed at the projection of Renette Tinker. This is your messenger. This was something that could be easily confirmed, so Klein didn't hide it. He tearfully acknowledged and nodded. What a pity. Amon sized up Renette Tinker's projection and shook his head with a tisk. As he felt the food in his stomach disappear, Klein asked, what's the matter? I should bring you to Backland to wait for a few more days. That way, I can wait for your messenger to deliver a letter to you. Then she will become my... Oh, shit. He wants what he has. Then she will become my messenger. Amon nudged his molecule on his right eye and said with a smile, snatching an angel messenger, that will be very challenging and fun, isn't it? Life needs some fun, excitement, and anticipation. This guy is wild. I share the same thoughts. Klein replied sincerely, what a pity. Then Hatted Amon shook his head again. Evernight is someone I need to be careful about. If we stayed there any longer, even I wouldn't have an idea what would happen. As he spoke... All right. I'm excited when that happens. As he spoke, this angel of time dispelled a historical void projection of Renette Tanker, allowing her to vanish from front of Klein. You seem to be very wary of the goddess. Klein pretended to be a devout believer of the Evernight goddess. Of course, he didn't need to don a disguise. He was still a bless of Evernight. Amon's gaze shifted to the lantern inside the half-collapsed building and looked at the dim yellow light. I'm unable to steal things that I'm curious about for a concealed state. I'm unable to steal things that I'm curious about from a concealed state. Oh shit, that's perfect. That's perfect when we go back. I can't decipher what other arrangements she might have and what the key thing to take note of are. To a king of angels of the Marauder pathway, there was sufficient reason to be apprehensive. Taking advantage of the opportunity while Amon was answering his questions, Klein suddenly recited the honorific name of the Evernight goddess in Jotun. You are the Evernight goddess who stands high in the cosmos that are more eternal than eternity. Just as he said that, his thoughts were lost. If he hadn't had such plans previously, he wouldn't have known that he had made such an attempt. Amon turned to look at him and said with a smile, are you trying to sound me out, believing that I'll also repeat your words after stealing your thoughts and words? Could work. At sequence 4 parasite, one is able to control the stolen atoms and make them appear at a suitable time. Is that so? Klein nodded gently. Thank you. Thank you. As he spoke, Klein quickly summarized his experience and lessons of his escape attempt. Because the existence of the contract and their subordinative relationship, summoning Miss Messenger is the easiest amongst all the angels I know. Summoning the ice cream from the past will can establish a subtle... Oh, that's why he was eating the ice cream. Summoning the ice cream from the past will can establish a subtle connection when he who represents fate and allow me to be blessed with luck. Yes, every ball of ice cream represents a portion of my luck, so he had 5 chunks of luck. I originally planned on summoning ice cream as a... I'm getting a phone call. As a cover to secretly summon the Snake of Fate. I think it was a phone call. In the future, the summoning had to be done from a certain degree of interference. Otherwise, Amon would be able to directly steal the historical void. Imagine I summon. You can do that. It would only be giving him a helper after going through so much effort. Just as his thoughts raced, Amon pointed at the bunch of animals that had been cursed by transformation curses, and he said with a slightly evil smile, "Aren't you worried that there won't be any suitable food in the forsaken lands of gods? There it is. As long as we don't dispel the curse, they're real animals." Klein wasn't stunned and suddenly looked at the goats and white rabbits. With him willing them, the animals looked at them simultaneously. In a sense, they were all himself. After all, there were combinations of the worms of spirit and monsters before being hit by the curse. So now we have a huge supply of food. All right, so we're chill. Oh, man. His ritual eat ice cream. It's just, there's so much that's going on in these interactions now. It's like, I'm telling you, I'm used to just like physical fights. I'm not used to all these layers of I'm not used to this, but this is cool. It's definitely a fun challenge, man. I'm like, wait, what? You can do that? Okay. Next chapter, man. Let me just check my phone. Let me check my phone. But if Klein eats those monsters he is eating himself, that is pretty gross. But he's still getting nourishment, so it's technically good. All right, quick phone call. If it was a phone call or not. One sec. Sec. We might read until 59, and then I can hopefully come back later in the day. That's the plan. Now let me check my phone. Yeah. No, I'm gonna read 58, but I do want to read 59 also. Yeah, I definitely need to read and watch more shit like this, man, because it's really hard for me. Don't get me wrong. I'll occasionally watch shit where some crazy stuff happens, but not this constantly, right? The fact that all these mind games and trickery and swindling and erroring is happening constantly, I'm like, whoa, man. I typed 159 on the screen. Oh shit, my bad. That was the last one I wanted to read. But no, we're at 58. Let me check my fridge. I got it. Hold up. Quick phone call. Good thing we can go for like 30 more minutes. So we should be able to read 2 more chapters and then look at the artwork. I saw your message, Milosh. On September 20th, Easy vanished from the from the world. He went into the historical void. Yeah, man, I got so sweaty when I passed out. Even right now, I still feel a little sweaty. It's crazy, dude. I still feel a little sweaty. I feel like I'm getting sweatier today than usual. I was just wild. I just keep reading. We gotta knock it out. We gotta knock out 2 more chapters and then look at artwork. I got you. I got you. All right, have Discord up here. Let me wait. Look, let me full screen Discord, minimize it, and then we'll go back to it at the end. Chapter 1158 is called Coming to Terms. After silently staring at the rabbits and the mountain goats for more than 10 seconds, Klein closed his eyes and flicked his right index finger and the middle finger as if he was pressing to an invisible piano. A third of the marionettes collapsed, losing the feeling of being alive. Klein's expression immediately warped as though he had been stuck 33 times by a giant sword. The familiar and extreme pain he felt sweeping through his spirit body, causing the light-colored meat tendrils to sprout out of the body. Every sprouted seemed to be formed by a Oh, man, I can't read. By a transparent maggot. By the way, your 1 year anniversary is coming up. I know. It's coming up, dude. I'm pumped. And it's almost our 1 year since we started reading this. Don't worry. I know, I saw. I think next week we should be able to stream for a little bit longer. At least on one weekday or so. This was the backlash from killing 33 worms of spirit. After taking nearly 15 minutes to recover, Klein made his second attempt at letting the other third of his marionettes die. At the same time, I cannot read at the same time. The same pain, the same time to rest, and the same actions were repeated again. And finally, he completely finished off the batch of cursed marionettes. Okay, so we're good. He couldn't handle it all at once because the damage caused by the death of 100 worms of spirit was enough to make him lose control. After being cursed meant that he couldn't directly solve the problem by retrieving the characteristics. Of course, this was the standard of a scholar of yore who had just advanced recently. It wasn't the performance of a scholar of yore who had almost done digesting a potion. In fact, the loss of 100 worms of spirit would only worsen the pain without him showing any signs of losing control or affecting the battle. He was only acting just now, allowing his performance to match his role. Look at him acting, even in this situation. At this level, losing half a number of worms of spirit that he had at the same time would lead to losing control, not him. Once he completely digested the Scholar of Your portion, he would be able to recover from having nearly 500 worms of spirit die at once. Even if he lost all the corresponding Bionic characteristics, he wouldn't lose his status and level. He could slowly recover his strength by observing the Bionic characteristics of the Seer pathway. After completing this, recovering Klein walked out of the half-collapsed tower-like building. He went to the darkness outside and brought back a few white rabbits and a goat. He then realized that the darkness in the forsaken lands of gods wasn't as dangerous as Little Sun had described. Most of the monsters were weak, not to be precise, the danger lurking in the depths of darkness. Apart from making people evaporate into thin air, nothing else can compare to the feeling beside me named Amon. Klein glanced at the thin man who was sitting near the lantern and smiled. He watched him busy himself. He summoned something like boiled water from the historical void, and he squatted down, seriously removing the fur and flesh from the white rabbit's skull. It's crazy how, like, this sequence is really good when it comes to survival. Klein trying to trick the god of mischief and deceit. It's pretty funny. Like, you're trying to trick the trickster. Like, how? Like, how, dude? How do you do that, dude? After a series of tasks, Klein set up a bonfire. He set up a barbecue rack and came from the history, and he placed a white rabbit on it. He brushed it off full of set of condiments as he made himself, like basil, fennel, and salt, and he constantly turned the meat over. At this moment, the delicacies from the historical void had eaten before it had long disappeared due to him no longer maintaining their existence. His body and soul were calling out for the replenishment of this whole pathway is going to be for survival. Is good for survival. I'm scared, man. I'm scared to see what else happens, man. A tempting, but it also gets me hyped for the next sequence. A tempting fragments. Oh, maybe the reason Klein keeps telling Amon to kill him is because we know sequence 2, a true miracle, is coming back from the dead, right? What was the exact quote that Zartold said, or Mr. Door? A true miracle is coming back from the dead, or bringing the dead back to life? Wait, mate. Maybe that's a prerequisite for him advancing. A tempting fragrance was gradually emitted as Amon's nose twitched slightly. You're really eating them. Without waiting for his reply, the god of mischief continued. They're essentially the flesh of monsters and worms. He's saying that he can cause Klein. He's saying it because Klein can. No, I know that's why he's saying it, because he can revive. But I feel like when that happens, when he kills him, by that time maybe he digests his potion and that's when he advances. Remember, that was in like volume 1. No, I know, like just like in volume 1. No, yeah, I know that. But I wonder if he's gonna be able to use that as his advancement ritual for like a miracle invoker, like dying and coming back. They're essentially the flesh of monsters and your worms of spirits. Are you sure you want to eat them? Without waiting for his reply, the god of mischief continued. They're essentially the flesh of monsters and your worms of spirit. Are you sure you want to eat them? There's no way to undo the curse at the level of an angel. If there's no way to resist to correct it at the same level, there's no way to dispel it. Since a thing looks like a rabbit, smells like a rabbit, and tastes like a rabbit, it's a rabbit. As Klein seriously roasted the rabbit, he gave a self-deprecating laugh. Besides, how can I not maintain the best state if I want to escape from your grasp? For this sliver of hope, I can only challenge my psychological limits. Bro, why didn't you call me? I always call you. What do you mean? Always. Never have we never not called you. This is what it means to endure humiliation and suffering, Klein added inwardly. At the same time, he cited the ancient Bane transformation curse. This was many times stronger than the Sequence 3 Disciple of Silence curse. There's almost no limit to the amount of time it can be maintained. Clearly, an ordinary animal can use all of my beyond powers through the worm of spirit, but a deformed marionette due to a curse is impossible. This is a curse at the angel level. Apart from putting up resistance from someone at the same level, no one can use the correct method to remove it. No curse is irreversible. Okay, there are always loopholes. While kissing this rabbit, turning into German. While kissing this rabbit, turn it into German Sparrow. Klein made a self-deprecating comment, and he analyzed to compose himself. After hearing his reply, the monocled Amon nodded with a smile. Very good. This is indeed a good revelation to have. Klein did it. Fucking dude, man, this is crazy. And live on stream. Is the next sequence ritual not told yet? I don't think so. Not that I know. Not as far as I know. I don't know. This is indeed a good revelation to have. Klein didn't respond as he resumed his barbecue. Not long after, with the help of flame controlling, he finished roasting a rabbit and a ghost leg, taking advantage of the opportunity before the condiments disappeared. He matched some sweet iced tea he summoned from the... Man, we are using the historical void to make a buffet, dude. As he summoned from a historical void with the food, filling his stomach with a fragrance, it nourished his body and mind, allowing him to effectively relieve the pressure, despair, and indecisiveness from being kidnapped by Amon. During this process, he would occasionally recall the disgusting look of monsters as well as the fact that the worms of spirit were equivalent to himself. However, he was able to bring his feeling under control very well. After filling his stomach and replenishing his energy, he turned to the remaining ingredients next to the fire into the dry rations, as though he was saving up for his subsequent plans. Seeing that him slowly but orderly making all sorts of preparations, Amon suddenly nudged his molecule and asked with a slight smile, you're trying to stall for time before we reach the actual destination, right? Oh, he knows that. In actuality, you're trying to stall for time before we reach the actual destination, right? Klein's hands paused for a moment before he continued with his actions. He smiled and said, yes, I'm waiting for help. Guess who? Guess who? Amon didn't answer directly as he said with a smile, I'm looking forward to it. Damn. Klein continued his work until he prepared rations for 3 or 4 meals. He thought for a moment and once again reached his hand into the void in front of Amon. He felt again and again as he kept making attempts. It was unknown what item he was trying to summon, but it seemed like he was using his actions to dare Amon into stealing it. After watching for a few he's baiting him. After watching for a few seconds, Amon smiled and shook his head as I slowly lowered the volume. He slowly stood up and walked out of the half-collapsed towering building. Klein's right hand stopped in mid-air before he retracted it and pinched his forehead. He muttered to himself in puzzlement, what was I trying to do just now? Oh, he stole his thoughts. While trying to recall, Klein stood up as well. He brought along his packet rations, picked up an animal hide lantern, and walked to the back of Amon's side. The man and angel circled around the hill and entered the valley. The water was sloshing in the river, but when the dim yellow light shone at it, or when the light in the sky lit up in the area, Klein realized that there was no water in the riverbed. The sounds he had heard earlier had also disappeared. A river, he stole it all. A river that had been transformed into a concealed state. After some deliberation, he raised a question to Amon. That's right, it would only appear in darkness void of light. Amon replied with a slight nod, unfazed with the question, can I drink it? Klein pressed.
I feel like he can. Amon smiled and said, sure, this was once one of the water sources of a city that had perished for 1,600 years into darkness. As long as you can bring the water away from the riverbed, they can appear in places with light. Your next move is to suggest that I bring the lantern to wait by the side while you hydrate yourself in the darkness, and then take this opportunity to transform into a concealed state. Klein smiled awkwardly. How can I use such a simple method? Hearing that, Amon laughed and stroked his monocle. Sometimes the simplest plan is the most effective. You can give it a try? Dude, he's like, just do it, bro. Give me something fun to do. For regards to these words of the peerless swindler, Klein couldn't believe it, nor did he dare to believe it. He was afraid that the other party was using reverse psychology with the trust. Yeah. With the truth. Yeah. He could only put the matter of the water aside and ask, in the forsaken lands of gods, how many human gathering points like the City of Silver have yet to be destroyed? Amon looked ahead and said, without changing his expression, the ones I know don't exceed 10. In this aspect, the city is silver is lucky. At least they can see and have the ability to touch the light. This means the City of Silver is very close to the Giant King's court. The door leading... Oh, that's our way out. No shot, that's our way out. This means the City of Silver is very close to the Giant King's court, the door leading out of the forsaken lands of the gods. There's no need to risk death to reach it. As for the other cities, no matter how steadfast they are in the darkness, no matter how many exploration teams they send out, it will all be futile. Wait, so there's less than 9 others? Just like the City of Silver that we don't know of yet? No matter how much they send out, it will all be futile. There's no way to find the exit. Indeed, from this angle, the City of Silver is unfortunate and also lucky. This is purely dependent on the reference point. Klein held his lantern as he... Or are they just talking about like empty mausoleum? What if Cuttlefish is writing all this instead of Adam? Maybe Cuttlefish is Adam this whole time. Maybe think about it that way, you know? Klein held the lantern as he proceeded along the bank and began coming up with his second attempt at escaping. Amon walked beside him, occasionally providing him with ideas that seemed relatable but had unknown actual results. He appeared to be suffering from this schizophrenia, trying his best to destroy his true body's hopes in obtaining Sephara Castle. On the other side of the Giant King's court in the City of Silver, after receiving the chief's summoning call, Derek Burge brought the unshuttered crucifix to the top of the spire and entered a spacious room. There was a mysterious and complicated altar set up here. Different items were placed in different spots, a total of 6 items, each of them emitting a dangerous aura. With a glance, Derek saw an ordinary silver flute and masked man from a skull and a remains of a deformed person. You have the unshuttered crucifix. You can stay here for 15 minutes, but you can't exceed the time. Otherwise, you will suffer a sudden death. Colin Elad wore a linen shirt and a brown coat as he exhorted Derek. Derek's spiritual perception was triggered as he asked her, excellently, is this because of the Twilight mask? His right hand pointed at the mask made from a skull. Yes, Colin nodded slightly as he said, I've already prepared the remains of the 6 powerful creatures. They were all hunted by myself or with me as the main force. Derek was immediately enlightened. You still lack the blessings of a deity. Colin instantly fell silent. After nearly 10 seconds, he opened his mouth and slowly said, yes. After some hesitation and struggling, he finally chose the fool. Oh, the art of Swindler Easy I made as part of the stream gifts. Yeah, I added it. Yeah, I added it, bro. At least those mushrooms have given the City of Silver hope. Derek suppressed his joy and thought back to the interactions at the Terror Club. He raised a question in puzzlement. Why didn't you let those 2 god-level sealed artifacts give you their blessings? He remembered that the subsidiary gods or angels could satisfy the requirements of the ritual. It wasn't the case that only a sequence or a true deity could provide blessings. After all, a Silver Knight was only a sequence 3. Only sequence 3. Colin fell silent again and hesitated for a few seconds before saying, why won't they give blessings? They won't stuttering. They won't give blessings. Validation. Yes, for his sequence 3 ritual. All right, man, you guys ready? This is going to be the last chapter for this part of the stream before we look at the artwork. All right, man. Last chapter. Last chapter. And then we're going to look at artwork. 148. Validation. Damn, such a fucking good series, man. You would know at the end of this volume, I'm pumped. Dude, man, I'm pumped to see where this volume goes, man. Chapter 1000. How many chapters do you think you'll read today? Well, right now is going to be the last one, and hopefully I come back later tonight and we knock out 10 more. Was this close to finishing? Oh, he's almost done with 7? What chapter is he at, dude? Chapter 1159. Is he? I assume he's like around the 300s, 200s? Chapter 1159 is called Validation. They won't give blessings. Derek said with a little confused confused as I check my timestamps. Yes, we're good. Derek said with a little confused by this answer, not fully comprehending it. Back in the afternoon town camp, when he handed the Silver Knight potion form to Chief Colin Iliad, the other party had praised him for making a huge contribution. He believed that the upper limit of the City of Silver was no longer that of Sequence 4, and his tone didn't reveal the need to seek blessings from external sources. 13. Wow. He is reading until 13:35 next stream. Wow. He's going to have a headache. Oh, man. There's so much probably is going to happen, dude. Hence, Derek had always believed that Chief Colin would be able to use the 2 god-level sealed artifacts to complete the Silver Knight advancement ritual. Now it was inevitable that he was surprised. Back then, the chief didn't know that the 2 god-level sealed artifacts couldn't provide blessings, and he only realized this problem when he returned to the City of Silver. Derek subconsciously made a guess and didn't ask further. He nodded heavily and said, "All right, I will try my best to help you seek the blessings from a deity." Demon Hunter Colin exhaled silently and pointed at the door. There's no one in the room opposite. Derek turned around and passed through the corridor, entering the half-open room. Then he took a seat and recited softly, "The fool that doesn't belong to this era, the mysterious ruler above the Grey Fog, the king of yellow and black who wields good luck." Inside Sephira Castle and hidden within the Grey Fog, the crimson star representing the sun rapidly expanded and contracted. It kept repeating the process, producing rings of please. Rings of please? And not far beside it, the crimson star representing the magician remained in the same state because of the fool's lack of a response. The circular rings rippled in tremors that were the two created intertwined became more intense. Under the illumination of the bolts of lightning, Klein carried a leather lantern and walked into the valley. He suddenly felt the illusory pleas and his ears became even more chaotic and louder. However, he realized that he had heard it clearer than before. Okay, so we're getting a response. Not only could he tell that the pleas came from a woman and a man, but he could also vaguely make out certain content. The woman seemed to mention the world and backland. The man was used Jotun, and the keyword seemed to be of a ritual. Ritual Jotun, that's little son. That's chief wishes to receive Mr. Full's blessings. Mr. Full also needs some blessings right now. Mr. Full also needs some blessings right now. The one might be Miss Magician, but I can't rule out mistresses either. The corner of Klein's mouth twitched in embarrassment. He turned his head to look at Amon in the point hat and monocle, and he said, "Can I pop over to Sephira Castle to answer prayer?" "What did you think?" Amon was taken aback as he asked in amusement. "Since you want to play such a game, why won't you let it be more exciting?" In fact, Klein didn't have any hope regarding his request. This is because as long as he could return to Sephira Castle, he could use the power there to make the first step in escaping from his predicament. This was equivalent to getting Amon to just set him free. I feel like that'd be funner though for him, right? The reason he mentioned this was because he wanted to use this to start the subsequent topic. Amon nudged the crystal monocle with his knuckle and chuckled. "As a god of mischief, I've been alive since the third epoch. I believe you know what that means. Yes, what do you want to ask?" This is an accurate grasp of my state of mind and thoughts. Klein sighed and asked, "Why did you parasitize the City of Silver's exploration team back then? You even patiently stayed in the dungeon for decades." Amon nodded and replied in a relaxed manner, "I had a premonition the City of Silver would obtain extremely important information. Now this prophecy has come true, right, Mr. Fool? He did all of that just to wait for me and the Terror Club?" From the looks of it, the Marauder Pathway Kings of Angels can see the disturbances and fate caused by Sephira Castle to a certain extent. I assume because they're interchangeable. Can't wait for Volume 8 movie in 9 years. I'm pumped, bro. From the looks of it, the Marauder Pathway Kings of Angels can see the disturbances and the fate caused by the Sephira Castle to a certain extent. Klein had never expected the answer, leaving him momentarily at a loss at how to continue the topic. After about 10 seconds, he said, "You're really patient. He was a king of angels who liked to play pranks, yet he actually stayed inside a dark dungeon without any source of entertainment for decades. This has nothing to do with patience. It didn't take too much of my time. Compared to the thousands of years he's been alive, I think that's okay." Amon casually replied, "I'm still used to using a human standards when talking about a deity. To Amon, who was born as a complete mythical creature, a few decades is nothing. He might even be more than 3,000 years old." Klein regulated what he knew and asked again. "The City of Silver is one of the few places that persist on believing in your father. Aren't you going to overboard with what you did to the exploration team?" This question didn't seem to be necessary, but Klein believed that it would aid him in understanding Amon's thoughts and style, doing so in order to see if there was anything that could be used. Amon turned his head and glanced at him with his monocled right eye. He said with an indifferent smile, "If it was for their faith in my father, the City of Silver would already be reduced to ruins." Really? But didn't he technically save them even though he forsook them? Wouldn't it already be reduced to ruins? According to my observations, they're hiding quite a significant secret. As for what it is, because of my gaze directed by you and the Hanged Man, I haven't had the chance to pry into it, so he doesn't know. A true-born and mythical creature, the deaths of just a few humans might be equivalent to trampling on a few ants to death. He wouldn't take it hard at all. The City of Silver actually has a secret that even Amon thinks is a big secret. What could it be? Klein thoughtfully changed the topic. Bro, what's going to happen in this volume? Was Dark Angel Sasir really created from your father's rib? That has to be part of it. Maybe that's part of the secret. This was something that Klein had wanted to ask the entire time, but he hadn't found the opportunity to ask. The smile on Amon's face faded as he looked at the darkness in front of him. Oh, now he's being serious. Yes, he separated a portion of his characteristics from the corresponding negative personalities. He used his rib as the materials to create Dark Angel Sasir. If that wasn't the case, how could a proud and arrogant person like Medici obey the so-called left hand of God, the deputy of heaven? Without Sasir's rebellion, implication, and influence, even if Evernight, Earth, God of Combat, and the other kings of the angels join forces, it's impossible for my father to perish. Impossible. Indeed, Dark Angel Sasir is the most key factor in this matter. It's not, so he's bigger than we're thinking. Well, he's a lot bigger than I thought. It's no wonder the goddess wanted to bewitch him at the very beginning. Who would have thought that he would betray himself? Klein's initial speculation of the Battle of the Gods had been confirmed. He felt his Skull of Your potion digest a little, all because he's learning history. His potion is digesting a little bit more. He deliberately hesitated and made a guess. Could your father have foreseen such a development? Dark Angel Sasir is also the key to his resurrection. Amon steadily laughed. You asked so many questions in order to further digest the Scholar of Your potion, right? Klein, oh, he's onto him. Klein pretended to break out in a cold sweat, and he quickly adjusted his state of mind. I'm just curious, what are you looking at? Oh, he's pretending to be sweaty. I'm sweaty. I'm actually sweaty. He is scholaring the Yor. He is definitely scholaring the Yor. I'm just curious, what are you looking for in the Forsaken Lands of Gods? What are you pursuing? The Marauder Pathway Sequence 1 beyond a characteristic that you're missing isn't here, nor is it Sephira Castle. Are you trying to revive your father? Amon maintained his smile and looked straight at him. Yes and no. My zealous brother, Adam, is already very close to reviving my father? What? He probably doesn't need my help anymore. So what the fuck does he want? Adam really wants to revive the ancient sun god. I thought that he was purely doing it for the sake of becoming a Sequence Zero. Without hiding anything, Klein recalled out the name of the Twilight Hermit Order leader. He was even looking forward to Adam beating his young... Oh, I'm sorry. Adam versus Amon is going to be sick. Oh, he coming back. Oh, it's going to be a good volume, huh? Oh, it's going to be a good volume. He was even looking forward to Adam beating his younger brother up. Of course, beating someone up wasn't in line with the style of the Kings of Angels, the Spectator Pathway. We can make an exception. There's no need to mention it. His name, he won't interfere with my matters, nor will I interfere with his. I don't address him as Adam because I think that is a nickname like Zealous is very suitable for him. Suitable? I have to say that Medici is very talented in giving nicknames. Also, even if I say his name, he wouldn't be able to hear it if I don't wish for him to hear it. Okay, at this moment, the monoculed Amon smiled as he exposed Klein's ideas. Following that, Klein didn't mention the Dark Angel any further because it was obvious that Amon wouldn't answer. Before long, the man and angel walked out of the valley and saw a silent city. More than half of the buildings in the city had collapsed. Remaining ones had a sharp roof, as though they were towers that led to heavens. On the surface, dark red vines and plants grew, forming fruits whose edibility was edibility. Like if it's edibility was unknown. After entering the city, he discovered that there were stone coffins placed in front of each house. Inside were skeletons of recently rotted corpses. Ugh. A common point between them was that them being greatly deformed. Some had 4 legs, some had a slit in the middle of their eyebrows. Some lacked skins directly revealing their flesh. Some had arms wrapped around their neck like tails. This was originally a city that believed in the phoenix. Later, it converted its target of fate to my father, but it retained some customs related to death. The molecule Amon casually sized up his surroundings and said, after the cataclysm... More lore? Okay, this sounds important. The molecule Amon casually sized up his surroundings and said, after the cataclysm. They were left behind in the forsaken lands of the gods. Okay, I get this. However, there were no edible, relatively normal plants around them. Okay, yes. So they could only eat those corrupted monsters. Over generations, their bodies began to produce defects and psychological problems. Eventually, they were completely wiped out. Oh. The cataclysm brought about the goddess's assassination of the City of Silver's creator really was a calamity for civilization. Before that, there were 11 giant phoenix civilizations, and so on. After that, all that were left are traces of them. When Klein thought of the city that he had been swallowed into the ground, he sighed. In the history books and mysticism, this is very apt to call the history the cataclysm. I feel like he fully digested the potion after this. He paused for a moment before asking, why are we entering this city instead of going around it? Amon smiled and said, in the second epoch, apart from wielding the death pathway, the Phoenix ancestor Gregorus, right, also occupied part of the apprentice pathway? Ancient Death, the Phoenix ancestor Gregorus also occupied part of the apprentice pathway? Oh my god. My brain. Some of the decorations here can become a loophole that I can make use of to shorten our journey to our final... What is our final destination? Klein's expression immediately darkened. Okay. Let's look at some artwork. I need to digest this. Because later we're going to be reading improving. I thought I said improvising. All right, let's look at some artwork. What the fuck is going on, man? Wild. 2 hours. Final destination death. Final. I see what you guys are doing there. Final destination bloodline. Death. Final destination. I didn't catch that reference. Ancient Sun God didn't have the potion system knowledge, so they did whatever and had weird authorities. Man, that's gross though. No spoilers in artwork, Milosh? Probably not. Only one way to find out. Am I right, guys? Or am I right? All right, only one way. Only one way to find out. Only one way. All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Only one way to find out. When we'll read again, hopefully later today in a few hours. If not, tomorrow. There was one I told him to take it off. Okay. If we don't read later today, we'll definitely read tomorrow a lot earlier. Oh, yeah, just checked. All right, here we go. So, beautiful Force. Milosh, man, you're right. Force grows on me. She's growing on me. Stream lags for me. I think right now, my condition, it says it's still good. I'm not sure, dude. Maybe. Force is the girl of my heart. Oh, look at that. She look beautiful. What even is this creature? All right, here we go. Here we go. Oh, my God. What the fuck is this, dude? God damn. Hey, GPT, can you write me a fanfic? Oh, shit, wait. I think it might actually respond. Don't respond. I don't know. Where's my phone? Oh, it's over there. Don't sell the ship. No, we are not sailing the ship. No, the ship is not sailing. All right, let's look at this, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. Look at that. It's crazy. Is that a cat? Is that Brody? Is that the cat Brody? Oh, he is sweating, dude. Oh, I think this is gonna be our thumbnail. I think this is our thumbnail. It's gonna be awesome when it gets animated, dude. Oh wow, this one is cool, dude. Oh, this is gonna be sick. Wow, that is tight. What the fuck is this eye, dude? Who are all these people? Huh. Okay. That's some 50 Shades of Grey stuff right there. Okay, okay. Okay. What is this? Dude, what is Amon even planning, dude? Like, I don't get it. Like, is he a good guy or is he a bad guy, bro? I don't get it. Wow. Wow. Oh, my God. Oh yeah, cats represent Klein, bro. I don't get it. I don't know where we're heading. I don't get it. I don't get it. He's just a silly little guy. He's being a little silly. He's being a little goofy. Amon is basically like the little goofy goober, and I don't know. I don't know what this dude is planning. I find it crazy that he's like, I'll give you one chance to escape. He's a little silly god. He's a little goofy goober. His plan, based on what he told us, is to bring him to a destination. True. But the thing is, so just This isn't his body. This is not his main body. The one we're with is not, who knows? Well, look, okay, so the one we're with is not, thank you for bringing that up, Mick. He did say, I'll bring you to my real body. And so this is not him. I've always thought this was a real him. No, this is just another marionette of his. And he's this strong. Dude, I'm telling you, I feel like he's going to be like Pain, dude. From Naruto, like, or Nagito, when you see Nagito's real body and like the state he's in, it has to be something like that. Like, it has to be some crazy shit. What is his real body doing? He said he's going to the main body. Lag? Oh, not on my end. I think I'm still good on my end. Are we lagging? I mean, not marionettes, but you know what I mean. My bad. Oh man, I'm hyped. I'm pumped. I'm fucking. Oh wait, no, this is Uni. Didn't he turn Uni into himself? He turned Uni into himself, and this is Amon. Amon's the Raven. Amon. Oh wait, also Uni. I think this is one of my favorite arts so far. This one is just fucking peak. It's Amon's avatar. This one is fucking peak, dude. If there's lag for A1, then you will see multiple lag messages. Okay. Oh man, I'm pumped. I don't know why I'm gonna make the thumbnail. I was just gonna use today's stream, but dude, there's some dude. People are so talented. Is this by sample? So is the creator sample, or is this like official artwork, but it's like sampled? I don't know what to believe. This one is tight. Not only stream is lagging, shit, and only right now. Damn, I'm sorry guys. I'm sorry if you guys are experiencing lags. All right, man. I think we're gonna end it there. At least it's not during stream. All right, man. I think we're gonna end it there. We'll definitely be back. Don't worry, Mono. We're going to be back. Oh, man. I'm scared. I'm scared for this volume, bro. It's kind of terrifying. Please read again. No, yeah. I'm going to try and do my best to come back later today. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to try and do my best. I don't know what time. So it is going to be an unannounced stream. It is going to be a... Just heads up, it is, if I stream today, it is going to be an unannounced stream because I don't know when I'll be back. And then when I set up stream today, I'll try and read till 169 after the stream. If you do come back later, in how many hours? I have no idea. Just less than 6 hours. If I come back, it's in less than 6 hours, give or take. I'm not back in 2-3 hours, that's for sure. There's probably going to be like, I don't know. It might be like before I go to bed or something. I'm not sure. Give approximates. I might come back between 3 to 5 hours. I might come back. Maybe. Give or take. Between 3 to 5 hours, I come back. If not, it'll be tomorrow. And before I go to bed, I'll have the stream scheduled up. That will, like, before I go to bed, I will have the stream scheduled for the next stream. You must give warning ahead of time if you plan to stream. I know. I gotta all be streamed perfect. Perfect. I know. It all has to be streamed. I know. I got you guys. That being said, though, I'm gonna let you go. Because, man, this shit was wild. Like, we're ready for later. Like, I almost said tomorrow. No. I'm still holding faith that we can do it today. All I know, man, it's gonna be wild, man. I'm ready. I'm pumped. All right, I'm gonna let you go. Peace. Have an amazing day. Thank you guys for tuning in. We had like 50 to 60 people today. Bless the full, and I'll see you guys all very, very soon. I know. I am so glad we are getting in a... I've been telling you guys, like, we are going to get like a City of Silver volume and Abyss volume. Like, I've been telling you guys. And this is it. Oh. Peace. Have an amazing day. Later, guys. Oh, man, that's hype. All right, later, guys.